And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the HSL, the Hispanic StarCraft League Playoffs Day number 1. I'm, of course, your VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all. It has been an intense month of StarCraft. I mean, I couldn't put it better myself. Oh my god, the hype video, Pappy. The intro was crazy. Oh my god. So shout out to those working behind the scenes that did put it all together, of course. But yes, it has been a month full of StarCraft. We did go over the group stage here on the channel. Of course, the group stage was a replay cast, but now we're here. Now we are back with the main event, with live coverage of the playoffs. Let us go, baby, let us go. As we have our initial bracket, we have our initial round ahead of us. Switching our scenes over, bam, we can have a look at the bracket together. Here we go. We have 16 players. We have 16 players looking to face off back to back here in the first round. We have the best of the best in Spanish-speaking countries. Once again, this event does include players from Latino America alongside Spain as well. From Bolivia, from Colombia, Mexico, Spain, Peru, Chile, from all around the world. They all come together to face off here in this tournament. When it came to the group stage, as you saw, 2 players did make it out of every single group. Now we have our top 16. From the top, we have a SpeCial. We have a SpeCial versus Ryogin in the first round in TVZ. We have eGGz versus Zions, Mute versus Daryl, Tavito versus Hunter, EON versus Charlie, Cooks, VortiX versus Black Knight, AqueroN versus Fair Spitter, and Cham versus Bombilla. Oh my god. Now, as you can imagine, I'm a little bit torn when it comes to what to cover and what to cast. I'll be honest. There's some really good matches, some really juicy series here, and we're going to be splitting this in half. Of course, shout out to Enki, shout out to Bond Gaming, shout out to Protocito, and all those working behind the scenes and casting the event in Spanish. I believe they got like 4 or 5 streams going on right now in the Spanish language. And of course, they have been able to divvy themselves up, and they're going to be covering the entirety of the round of 16. We will only be able to cover half of it ourselves. I would love to cast everything, but I can't be everywhere all at once, so we're going to be covering half of the matches and the other half thereafter. Oh boy, here we go. I see in the chat, is VortiX counterfeit VortiX? The other way around. VortiX came first, then VortiX, then VortiX. But yes, we do have our initial round here, our initial round of 16. When it comes to the first series here, actually you can see it ready for you. Bam, right here, right now. You can see it just under the bracket to my left. eGGz versus Zions is going to be our first series here, is going to be a ZVP. Honestly, it's a bit of a return to form here. eGGz and Zions, there's a long, heavy history between them. Again, we've been casting Latin American StarCraft here on the channel for many years, ever since we started going full-time back in 2019. If you remember, back in 2019, we were the English casters for Copa America, just before EPT, just before ESL Pro Tour. We were the English casters for the final season of WCS Copa America. Now we're here, now we're back, and seeing so many of these old faces and new faces as well feels good, man. Also, big shout out to Ariop in the chat for the 100 bits. Gracias. Thank you so much for the bits. I hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the event. Hope you enjoy Hispanic StarCraft League. Oh, let's go, baby. Let's go. But yes, eGGz and Zions do have a history. What I will say, and part of it is a pro, part of it is a con, is that a lot of these players were inactive. A lot of these players had been gone for years, which is why it was so exciting to see them all come back. Players like VortiX, there are some newer viewers of StarCraft, I'm sure, that maybe don't know who VortiX is. VortiX is a legend, of the scene of StarCraft from back in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. VortiX was one of the best Zerg players in the world outside of Korea, one of the best foreign Zerg players for a time, and did step away from the game many years ago at this point, but recently has come back for the HSL. Juanito, SpeCial, he also hasn't competed since last year, July, August, since essentially EWC. SpeCial has been inactive and only recently returning for the HSL. Players like Tavito, players like Zions, even eGGz, a lot of these players were taking some time off post EWC or even years previously. Bombilla, he was retired for years as well. I don't think he competed since like 2022 or something like that. So it's been a very long time since some of these players have stepped into the ring. Because of that, we'll see what form they're in. They've had a month. They've had a month plus to prepare, to practice, to ladder, to get back in shape, back in form, to get up to date with the current meta, of course. And we'll see who comes out on top, who will be the best player in the HSL. Let's go. Now, as a reminder, this is a 2-day event. There's a 2-day event. Here we have day 1. Tomorrow, of course, we're going to be covering the rest of the brackets. I believe here today we do have the round of 16. Round of 16 ahead of us alongside the round of 8 as well. So we have the first 2 rounds tonight. Of course, tomorrow will be the semifinals, 3rd place match, and the grand finals as well. These are going to be purely best of 3s, and of course the best of 5 finals at the end of tomorrow evening. For now, though, we're getting ready for our first series, getting ready for our first matchup. Vetoes are wrapping up, and we're about to jump into our first map of the night. Let's go, baby, let's go. So again, eGGz versus Lions is coming up ahead of us. Game 1 is going to be on Whispers of Gold. We're about to jump into that first game. And again, when it comes to the history of these players, I mean, we can get into it. Zion's for a very long time was very macro-oriented. I'm thinking of back in 2020, 2021, coming into 2022. Zion's, he was one of the many players, I mean, all the Protoss players were embracing Void Ray openers into Sky Toss, into late game compositions. It was arguably a dark time in StarCraft. It was a dark time in StarCraft, happy. And yeah, it was one of those eras where Zion's was finding a lot of success. He was finding a lot of success, and eGGz, I should say they were quite comparable with each other. eGGz, of course, he did rise up as one of the best Zerg players in Latino America. I would have said back in the day, Cham being number 1, Eric number 2, and maybe eGGz is number 3. There was some competition for that 3rd place spot between eGGz, between Ryu, for example. I would say eGGz, Ryu, Jaime, Jim Rising, the Zerg Lord. There's a lot of competition there around that like upper echelon of Zerg players, so it's great to see eGGz once again, as it has been quite some time. It's been quite some time, papi. Oh my god. Yo, I see you in the chat, Tavito, papi, God. Good to see you, papi, good to see you. Oh my god. So glad to see you casting, of course, papi, of course. Oh my god. Unfortunately, we won't be able to cast Tavo tonight, but you know, actually, never mind. I was gonna say we won't be covering Tavo's first match in the round of 16. I would love to, don't get me wrong, but right now we are scheduled to cover some of the other matches instead. But regardless, I do look forward to seeing some Tavito in the next round. I believe in you, papi. No bias, but I believe in you. You can make it. You can make it to the quarterfinals. Then we'll be able to cast 100%. We'll step in, papi. We'll step in. As for now, it looks like we are just getting our matchups ready here and producing said lobby. For those who are curious, Tavo, of course, he's the previous Terran player. He is in tonight's brackets. I believe Tavo is going to be going up against his opponents in the first round. It's going to be Tavo versus Hunter. Best of luck. You got this, papi. You got this. Tavo versus Hunter. Oh, actually, a rematch for the group stage. Oh, okay. Rematch of the group stage. As we are trying to work through this. Just letting them know. Tapo. El tapo, papi. El tapo. Let's go. But again, big shout out to all the other Spanish casters as well. All the other members, of course. Citasca, Protosito, Bond Gaming, alongside the Novak, and Enki as well. And Enki. El hermoso, el hermoso. Let's go. Let's go. That's what's a little bit heartbreaking here about the event, is that I'm a big fan of so many of these players, that it's that hearts are gonna be broken here tonight, but I wish the best to all players involved. Wish the best. We go. Beautiful. And again, as a reminder, tonight we are going to be covering the event of 16. Actually, I can list off the matches that we're going to be casting. We're going to be jumping into eGGz versus Zions, of course, but we're also going to be jumping into Mute versus Daryl, Cham versus Bombilla, and SpeCial versus Ryogin at the end of the night. Here we go. All right, getting there, just waiting for the players to ready up, and then we will jump in. And there you go, you can hear the beeps. Whew, oh my god, I'm still hyped up from that intro video, not gonna lie. If you missed it, I recommend the VOD. To check out that video. It was beautiful. I wanna play it again. I'll be honest. We'll try to do so in between the matches. I'll do my best. For now though, Vitas are done. Game 1 is gonna be on Whispers of Gold. Let's go. Hola, todo este kamikaze. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Bom dia. To all those tuning in. Yo, I had to actually put on some clothes here tonight for the broadcast. I had to get fancy. Oh no. Of course, we can get into the prize pool distribution after this as well. For now, we can focus on our first match. We can focus on our best of 3. Hola, manito. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Ay, papi. Just catching up. Shout out to Tavo, Kamikaze, Psychons as well. I stand. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold. We have the Peruvian Protoss player, the Red Protoss. The round of 16 has finally begun. Representing Unidos por el Vicio, it is Zions. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Colombian Zerg player himself, the Blue Zerg. It is eGGz. Eloerito, baby. Let's go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get our predictions underway. Coming into this, if we were in our prime here, I would lean towards eGGz as being the favorite player. But again, as I mentioned before, a lot of players did take some time off post EWC during the off-season of StarCraft, of EPT. And so I don't really know exactly the form of these players and what they're looking like. We did cover them, of course, during the group stage. They were looking quite strong, quite powerful, but how do they look against each other? We're here to find out. We're here to find out. And so far, HSL Pool, standard opener out of eGGz. Likewise, Zions himself opening up with his own Gate Expand. Also, this is our third broadcast of the day, I guess. We were live earlier this morning with the Kung Fu Cup Warcraft 3 Evolution Edition, followed by, of course, the Chicken King Grand Cup number 7, featuring players like Dark, like Zaun. Now we're here with our third broadcast. Now I did nap. I did get a couple of hours of sleep. Don't you worry. I slept like 3 hours, and now we're good to go. Non-stop StarCraft. As so far, the opener is looking standard. Zions, he does poke in, making sure that the gas timings, the spawning pool timings are all on point. So far, everything looking as it should. Hatch gas pool. Making sure there's no shenanigans going on. eGGz, he's one of those players that is very versatile. I mean, that was one of the great things about him, especially during his rise in the earlier years of StarCraft, or the earlier years of a couple of years ago, I should say, is that eGGz, he can be very standard, very macro, and he can also cheese it up at a moment's notice. Go for earlier gas timings, earlier spawning pool, earlier Roach Warren, and try to catch his opponent off guard. So it's important here to just keep an eye on eGGz to make sure that everything's looking as it should. So to pull back. Likewise, I did mention that previously Zions, he was known for playing Sky Toss and rushing into Sky Toss and rushing into carriers as quickly as possible. Nowadays in the meta, it's not as easy to pull that off. I would say on certain maps it is. On larger maps like Abyssal Reef, Neon Violet Square, King's Cove, the big maps are where you can try to cut corners. But here on Whispers of Gold, this is the polar opposite. Welcome to the smallest map in the ladder map pool right now. Welcome to the rush map. Because of that, Zions, again, he's gonna have to be on his toes here when it comes to whether or not eGGz cuts workers at any moment. Does eGGz cut workers at 2 base saturation, at 3 base saturation? Does he commit to an all-in? I would not be surprised if he does. But now it's a little bit early to really make that call. But now we're just speculating. Definitely jumping into this. Oh my god. Stargate opener, which is standard, into a very early Twilight Council. It's a Twilight Council before the 3rd expansion. Hyper aggression out of Zions. And the Overlord is going to be dipping in. It looks like eGGz, he will get a full scout potentially if we do go further in though. So far, not quite rallied to get eyes on the tech. It's going to be close. Getting closer. Void Ray is on the way. He will spot this. Oh, barely. Oh, no. Okay, he's going to confirm. Goes in further. Void Ray is too late, the tech is too early, and the Overlord, even though it's going to go down to the Void Ray, will see everything in the main. Does come from the Twilight Council, instant Roach Warren. So nice reaction here by eGGz. He does respond as quickly as he can. Charge going to be on the way here for Zions. I was going to speculate it was going to be Glaive Adepts, but no, it is going to be Charge instead. A hyper-aggressive build. And again, eGGz, he knows to make roaches. He's now where he's checking no third base. He checks the linear third, checks the triangular third base as well. He does confirm there is nothing to be found. And now eGGz is aware not to overdrone, to drone up slightly to get ready here for some form of aggression. His Roach Run's about to finish and soon embracing Roach production. eGGz so far looking solid. So far eGGz is looking good. Double Adept into the natural. Queens are in position, one drone goes down, he gets one, just one. Oh, I should say two. Two workers go down, can we get a third? Adept does not quite make it in. Up! Barely does get not quite another worker. So 2 drone kills, 1 adept. I would say that's a better trade here for eGGz. Does defend well, getting safety spore crawlers. Queens have been amassing. And eGGz, he does move out, trying to keep an eye on any kind of third base. Will confirm, not a 2-base all in. Third base is on the way. Charge about to finish. Zions. Now, remember, Zions, he got scouted. He got scouted earlier by the Overlord, and Zions, he has not been warping in. Interesting. He's not been warping in. So despite rushing into really early charge, looks like he will not go for that timing, and we spoke earlier about rushing into Sky Toss. There it is. Fleet Beacon is on the way, Forge is on the way, and Zions, he is looking to rush into the mothership, into Tempest, or even carrier production. So Zions taking those extra steps. Likewise, yep, second Stargate is on the way. He is committing even further. Let's say triple Stargate. He's crazy. So triple Stargate here out of Zions, massing up those voids initially, waiting for the Fleet Beacon, waiting for what comes next. Yo, it's 2020 all over again. We never left. We can never leave. Ay, ay, ay. Zions does initially move out, looking to attempt potentially delay the expansion. Pokes in, forces a response. We do see eGGz, he did make a massive amount of queens. Roach production has begun, spine crawlers on the way, and this is all just to keep eGGz busy, keep him distracted, go for the expansion, and it looks like he will force a cancel. Nice pick up. Zions has to pull away. At the same time, Adepts, they do harass on the right hand side. Nice counterattack here from Zions, getting up to 4 worker kills. Very nicely done. 4 drones go down, and as Zion distracts, here comes the next big step. Triple carrier production. It's supply blocked, unfortunately, that will slow him down. Now, ideally, he wants to throw away some cells to free up supply. Poking in once again. +1 air attack is on the way. And eGGz, he has yet to really confirm what's happening. He hasn't seen the upgrade researching as it just began, and he hasn't seen the main base yet. He doesn't know exactly what's going his way. Now, there is a chance that eGGz, he's familiar with his opponent when it comes to the ladder. It's possible that maybe Zions does this very often. That's a 4th Stargate. It really is like we never left 2020, unironically. Like, it's crazy. Quadruple Stargate production. Zions, he doesn't even have the money to make 4 carries at a time at the moment, but he's getting there. Yeah, just massing up more carriers, throwing down a wall of cannons, wall of shield batteries. We do see eGGz, meanwhile, he has been droning, getting up to 3 base saturation. His 4th base is delayed. True, that is slowing eGGz down, and eGGz, he's attempting to get into Roach Hydra, which is an okay composition. It does have some pushing power, especially on a small map like Whispers of Gold. Gases are being prioritized, very nicely done. Does need those gases as quickly as possible. Hive is on the way, and he can work towards Hydra, Lurker, Viper, which would not be the worst composition, but again, we're still lacking some information here. eGGz pokes in. I'm not too certain he did see the upgrade, as he does move out. Meanwhile, how many carriers do we have? So far, 5. Soon to be 8 carriers. Just going mass carrier here. Ay, ay, ay. And again, the answer to this is going to be Corruptors, but eGGz doesn't know. eGGz has yet to confirm. So there is no Spire. Vipers will help, but again, eGGz, he's still lacking that information. Catching out harassing adepts, containing his opponent. There we go, 3 Vipers on the way. That will help. He's building up those Vipers. Massing up a greater army. How many carriers? 7. Jeez. 7, soon to be 9 carriers, by the way. That's insane. And yeah, they're just Spire. Double Spire, he knows. Yeah, at this point, he's aware of what's going on. Double Spire, double... I mean, yeah, Changeling. Changeling does dive in. Now he sees everything. He sees the Mass Sky Toss. And we're going from Mass Carrier into Mass Void Ray. And that is the answer to the Corruptor. Corruptors, a struggle against Mass Void Ray. And there we go. We have Flux Veins on the way. And Void Ray production well underway here for Zion's. He's getting into his perfect form. Yes. What year is this? What year is it? We're back to COVID era of StarCraft. Back to 2021 and 2020. Ah, no. We were supposed to be past this, Babby. We're supposed to be past this. Why are we back? Meanwhile, here come the Vipers. Vipers, they threaten to dive. Jesus, for the first time, though, does engage with the Mass Carrier army. At least the 4th base is denied. A nice pick off there from eGGz. Just waiting, biding time here for his Corruptors, for his Spires. Now, when it comes to this army composition, unironically, this is exactly how Zion's used to play back in the day. And I feel like I'm repeating myself. Like, this is what I would say back in 2020. I would say, you know, Skytoss is great and all, getting into all these carriers, all these Void Rays, but the reality here is that we're lacking ground support. We're lacking, ideally, Archons and Storm. Like, Archons and Storm, they round this army out so well, and this is something that Zion's doesn't have. Zion's has not teched in such a direction, and he didn't back in the day either. Like, this is his style. He's an animal. Lings a harass towards the left-hand side, cannons will defend. Zion's focusing on the main push, on the main army. Zoning eGGz away. And likewise, roaches are going to be falling. Making more carriers. Now, when it comes to this unit composition, because there is no splash damage, no Archons, and no Storm, what is this army vulnerable towards? It's vulnerable towards the dive with the Vipers. Ideally, what you want to do here is you want to go Mass Corruptor Viper, and maybe Infestor as well. You go Mass Power Bomb on the carriers. You stack on the Parasitic Bomb with your Corruptors, and it will kill every single Interceptor. How do you stop that from happening? Typically with Archons and Storm. Storm would zone the Corruptors away. Archons would punish the Corruptors for stacking because Archons do splash damage. So that's where you would need that ground support. Because Zion's doesn't have this, specifically that Parasitic Bomb move is going to be available here to eGGz, where usually it isn't, right? Usually it isn't available. Usually it's more difficult to pull off. Here it is easier to pull off because this army is so prone to stacking. And again, there's no clear answer to the Corruptors. Now, I would say that when it comes to the ground support, I guess he has cannons on the ground, so if he stays at home, he does at least have that to his advantage. Roaches, they get behind the mineral line. Zion's, he responds with his army. At the same time, eGGz moving in, going for the 4th base. Zion's out of position. Okay, Zion's, he has to respond. Does respond in time. Void Rays defend against the Roaches. Carriers move in. We have how many? 14 carriers, papi. Ay. 14 carriers on the way. Let's go. Science is building up. Again, this is almost a pure sky. This is a pure Skytoss army. So and at the highest level of play, pure Skytoss armies, as I mentioned before, like, they can be abused. They can be abused here, but the pressure is on eGGz to bring this all together. He's getting his Spore Forest ready. Massing up his Viper Infestor. What's his army looking like here? He's got 27 Hydras. The Hydras are not ideal, and yeah, he has to get rid of them. Ideally, these Hydras, they're hurting him more than anything. They're hurting eGGz. Ideally, want to trade them out, replace them with Corruptors, or ideally, I would say actually, replace half of these, throw half these Hydras away, get the other half into Lurkers. Oh wait, never mind. In my brain, there's still like a ground army. There isn't yet. We just go pure Corruptor. A fungal here on the interceptors. The last they just break on through. Do you get a powerbomb? Powerbomb onto the mothership. Oh, we do see Sounds trying to split. A lot of damage being dealt. Yeah, very nice powerbomb. And despite that, he does break through. Hydras are going for a counterattack. Again, they cannot help defensively. Do we have another powerbomb? The army's getting low on HP, but alas, we're still getting out of control. Yeah, Corruptors, they're going to be going down one after the other. And without those spells, without those parasitic bombs, this army is going to snow. There's nothing stopping it. There's nothing stopping it. Hydras are going for a counterattack. They're going for the base trade. Third base goes down, now going for the fourth. And what is left here? Zero Vipers, zero Infestors, zero Spellcasters, only Corruptor, and that's not good enough. That's not going to be good enough here. The Mass Carrier does break through, and Zions is looking to claim his first win of the playoffs. As he's going into the natural, getting into the tech, Corruptors, they cannot touch this army, not on their own. And Hydras, that support is not good enough. And again, as you mentioned, like there was just so much dead supply in these Hydras. Does dive in, gets one, gets two carriers. The Spires go down, a couple of upgrades to finish. And those are the final Corruptors here. GG gets called, Zions snowballs out of control, and Zions takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Zions does claim the game, and eGGz does take his first loss here of the series. Again, eGGz, the pressure's on to bounce back. As a reminder, this is a best of 3 single elimination format. The pressure is on. Now, when it comes to the game itself, we did mention it at the time, but just to reiterate once again, it did take a little bit too long for eGGz to realize what was happening, and eGGz, he was stuck on a mass Hydra composition. The reality is here... Oh. So just settling in. But the reality is here, as we get into game 2, is that those Hydras weren't helping. The Hydras, the reality is, ideally you want to throw those Hydras away earlier, so then you have more supply to build up more Corruptors and build up more Spellcasters. So really, those Hydras were hurting eGGz more than anything. eGGz, he also had a couple of Ultras, and I don't blame him just because you're geared and your mind is set in a certain way when it comes to quote-unquote late-game SkyToss compositions, because you're expecting Immortals, Archons, High Templar, you're expecting something on the ground. But really, if you invest into something like Ultras, even I made the mistake. Remember, I was like, oh, you know, a couple of Lurkers would be good here, and then I stopped myself. I was like, no, wait, like I'm thinking of like a regular late game composition. I'm not thinking of Mass Carrier. But those units are really hindering eGGz more than anything, as he needs to focus and prioritize as much of that entire army as he can, not just with Spore Forest, but with more Vipers, more Infestors, more Corruptors, more than anything. And again, that mass and pure SkyToss army can be abused. It can be abused as a result. But again, eGGz, he wasn't quite able to get there in time. And now we're getting to game number 2. And we'll see if Zions does mix things up, if he does switch gears, or if he commits into this same style here, into quadruple Stargate production, for example. Again, Zions, he has other builds up his sleeve. As a reminder, remember, how did Zions open this game? He opened with Charge. He opened with what looked to be an aggressive build, and remember how eGGz responded into early stack defense, into early Rotorn as well, preparing for what's to come. Because he got scattered, because Zions got scattered, he did mix things up. He did actually switch gears into SkyToss. Like, there was a bit of a back and forth there. There was definitely, I mean, the build had some twists and turns to it, and we'll see what comes together here on Ultra Love. So we're getting ready for game number 2. See in the chat, go Zions. Let's go, let's go. I see Bodney in the chats. Hey Lights, could Zions have pushed sooner with the carriers? Surely the Hydras weren't enough. Yes. Yes, he could have moved out a little bit sooner. It's one of those things where it looked like Zions, he wanted to max out first to secure himself, to get all of his stack defense at his bases, but 100% he could have moved out a little bit sooner instead, before maxing. To be fair, Zions didn't really know what he was up against, right? Like, we saw the unit composition of eGGz and what it was lacking. Zions didn't. For better or for worse, he wasn't scouting. He was like Zions, he wasn't scouting. He didn't know what he was pushing into. For all he knew, there could be like Mass Corruptor waiting for him and Mass Viper. Like he had no idea. But I do agree though that he most likely could have been a little bit more aggressive a little bit earlier. but I mean, regardless, did work quite well. And now we're getting to our next game. Hydra with my Cribble Shroud would have been good, no? Kind of. Actually, I was going to say kind of, but if you recall, something that we actually rarely get to see as we're getting into game 2, if you remember, my Cribble Shroud was recently buffed. It was, I say recently, I guess like months ago at this point, but less than a year ago, my Cribble Shroud, it was buffed. If you remember, now my Cribble Shroud actually latches onto the Hydras for a couple of extra seconds, so it follows them as well. So potentially, without any splash damage, specifically without Colossus, without Storm, without Disruptors, you could make an argument that early on, that you can pull that off. I say early on, I'm talking pre-14 carriers, right? Like, like, if we're talking like, you know, maybe up to in between like 6 to 8 carriers, then I think you could probably pull that off. I think you can hit the timing with a maxed out Hydra army with a couple of Microbial Shrouds. I think so, but once you get to critical mass of 14 carriers, man, that's a different story. That's There's a lot more that comes into play there, but here we go. We're getting to our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our Peruvian Protoss player. We have our red Protoss representing Unido Spotted Vicio, leading the series 1-0. It is Zions. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Colombian Zerg player, the blue Zerg, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. The pressure is on. It is eGGz. Here we go. As of now, hatch gas full, standard opener, probe does confirm. Zions is aware what's going on, is aware of the standard opener. Again, welcome and all to Ultra Love. The question becomes, does Zions go for the same build? Now, personally, I would wish and I would hope that he doesn't go for the same build. Ideally, when it comes to this level of play, you don't want to be relying on the same kind of cheeky build order and composition multiple times in a series, just because now your opponent is a lot more wary of that. As a reminder, after game 1, I'm sure eGGz, he's less willing to invest as hard and as quickly into roach production, into Hydras, and more so getting ready for scouting and getting ready for potential sky toss. If you recall, eGGz, he didn't really scout Zions until Zions was already up to, I think it was 8 to 9 carriers. It was only then when eGGz realized what was happening, so it was a later scout. Now I'm sure eGGz is going to be a lot more on top of scouting and figuring out what's going on. Likewise, I would imagine eGGz is going to be more decisive now as well. If he's able to scout Skytoss early enough, he can go for an all-in, he can go for like a 3-base timing to try to break Zions early on before the Skytoss does amass. So scouting is going to be paramount here for eGGz. And again, after game 1, I'm pretty sure he will be like that much more on top of that. He'll be all over it. For now though, I'm going to be settling in. We do have our initial Stargate opener out of Zions. As a reminder, last game we did see Stargate into Twilight Council before 3rd expansion. It's a crazy build out of Zions. Rushing into charge. We can see eGGz, yep, earlier scout. This is earlier than last game. And the same build. He does get eyes on the Stargate and on the Twilight Council as well. So everything looks the same as it once did previously. This should be for Void Rays and for Charge. Now, this is why I'm concerned for Zions, because so far, looks like the same build. And if this is the same build, again, I believe that eGGz will punish this that much harder. I believe he will be more decisive. Oh, hello. As Zions does have a cheeky proxy pylon across the map. This time, he might commit into Charge, as in he might commit to an attack. Remember, last game, he only made like 3 or 4 zealots. Like he decided after he got scouted not to commit and not to double down on mass charge lots. He switched from charge into Skytoss. For now, Adepts are warping in across the map. Unscouted. Do you have the safety Roach Warren on the way from eGGz? Makes plenty of sense. Again, getting a safety Roach Warren in time for those charge lots. I'd have to say threaten the shade. Alas, there's nothing here, nothing in position. Third base is being taken, and eGGz, he's just going for a Link Queen all in. Oh my god, he just walks across the map. And this is what we spoke about. Here, there's a higher chance that eGGz will attempt to punish with his own aggression, with his own all in. Lings, they move out. Queens have arrived. He's going for the expansion, going for the third base. And the base is denied. And behind this eGGz, he's droning. Behind this, he's now droning up. He committed quite hard here to sniping the expansion. Surrounds the Zealots, shuts them down. And the Queens, they can waddle back home. Actually, he's still going. Jesus. I don't think he needs to, by the way. I don't think he needs to keep pushing. Damage has been done. eGGz, he's droning. Now pushing further in. Ooh, Shield Battery is a little bit too late here. The Stalker getting very low. Likewise, Void Ray as well. Overextends. Void Ray does get picked off. Massive pickup. And eGGz busting down that front door. Going for the pylon. Breaks it down. Lings, they flood in. They go surround. Go for the Stalker. Stalker's going to be falling. There's 2 Stalkers left. And eGGz looks like now he does finally back off. He waddles back home. Shield batteries are done. Zions, he will hold on to the natural, but at the cost of his third base. He's stuck on 2 bases. eGGz, he's droning up as hard as he can. The voids are being pulled. He does surround the Queens. And Zions, do you see what I see? I don't see a second Stargate. I see more gateways. More gateways on the way instead. Likewise, eGGz, back at home. Again, he's been droning up as hard as possible. Taking his gases, going for his own hydrogen, getting ready for his own Hydra tech. And so far, eGGz in a pretty good position. Again, he didn't kill his opponents, but he did delay the economy. He did slow Zions down. Zions still making use of that pylon. Does warp in across the map. Making his way into the bases. Commits to the shade. Does commit 1, 2, 3 drone kills, getting up to 4. Very nicely done. 4, 5 drones going down. Oh god, this is 6 drone kills. Getting a little bit out of hand. Very nice damage. eGGz is being slowed down. Meanwhile, double Robo production on the way. Zion's committing into ground toss. Now with double Robo, he can start with double Immortal production. From here, I imagine going into Colossus. Against our mass Hydra composition, a splash damage is going to be necessary. But I do appreciate that Zion's is mixing it up. And again, so is eGGz, right? We're taking different approaches here. Which is what we do expect. Temple Archives on the way. +1, about to finish up. Well, Zion's army is still quite lacking at the moment. He's waiting for his gateways to finish. And then we can warp in. But eGGz looks like he's now focusing on pure army production. He's run up to 68, that is just over 3 base saturation, and he's not droning. He's not fully droning up that 4th base. He's focusing on purely Hydras and Lings, getting to +1, getting to Hydra speed, and eGGz, he might just commit off of a 3 base economy. And he is. He is committing. So eGGz is being aggressive, he's moving out. Now taking up though, with the infestation bit. But honestly, Zions has no army. He has no army. He's making 2 Immortals at a time. He's got a couple of Stalkers. He has a couple of units. Knocking down those rocks, knocking down that tower. Trying to buy time. And eGGz, he's not slowing down. He's not giving him that time. Does catch an Immortal. Not bad. Takes down an Immortal, knocks down those rocks, moving in, going in for the surround, and collapsing on the army. And again, there's just barely anything left here. Immortal's going to be falling. Void Rays as well, getting into the production, and eGGz, he's snowballing out of control. He's going to make a series out of this. Game 1 may have been decisive in favor of Zions, but here eGGz, he's angry, he's upset, he knocks down the production. GG gets called, and eGGz, he will tab the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a much more aggressive and decisive play here from eGGz. Much more aggressive, much more decisive. And with that, eGGz, he was able to fight back, able to be aggressive early on. able to deny the third base and have momentum on his side instead. He did kind of force his opponent to transition to tech up into robo, into a ground-based composition, but alas, he couldn't quite get there. Oh. So we're getting into game number 3. Getting into that third game. We go. But again, yes, so eGGz was much more aggressive, much more decisive here. Again, Zion's, he just wasn't given time to get into his own build. We had a little more urgency in favor of eGGz. And again, especially after game 1, I feel like that's going to be the trend here for our Zerg player. We'll see if that continues. Ooh, as I was not expecting this, game 3, vetoes are through, and game 3 is going to be on Neon Violet Square. Neon Violet Square, for those who are unaware, that is the largest map in the map pool. If a player if Zion's or any other player, if a player wanted to turtle to macro up on 4 bases, on 5 bases, and get into Sky Toss, this is the map. You could argue that Abyssal Reef would be a little bit better. True, I think I would agree. I think Abyssal Reef is maybe a bit of a better map for that, but Neon Violet Square is still pretty good for that as well. This is the largest map in the map pool. Rush distance by ground is very long. Likewise, you have a pocket base as a 3rd. Your 4th base is defendable. Your 5th base as well. Your 5 base setup on Neon Violet Square is very secure, and as a result, it can be difficult to break that setup. So I'm a little bit surprised by the vetoes, and it's possible that maybe eGGz wasn't really expecting this Sky Toss to be brought to fruition, and I feel like that would be favored here on Neon Violet Square. But we'll see. We shall see. The pressure is on. I'm making the assumption that, of course, Lions is going to embrace Sky Toss, but we don't necessarily know that's the case. Here we go. Here we go. So again, we are just building up. Again, game 3 is going to be on Neon Violet Square. Just making sure we get all the casters involved. Making sure we invite everyone in. Just catching the chat. Buenas. O Altair. O Altair. Bienvenidos. Good to see you. And again, hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. I like those 2 emotes together. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Shura. Shout out to Shura, of course. Shura, he did make our emotes, of course. Put in a lot of work into the art for our emotes. Thank you for causing more StarCraft. Siempre, papi, siempre. As always, as always. We'll be there. We'll be there. Again, this week was pretty intense for us. I don't have our schedule to show you, but we did cover 2 events a day, every single day. So it's been a very intense week of StarCraft. I say 2 events a day. This is our 3rd broadcast today. We were live this morning. We were live earlier this morning, of course, with the Kung Fu Cup, Warcraft 3 Evolution Edition. And followed by the Chicken King Cup number 7. Earlier this morning, we were covering Dark versus Gumiho, Zaun as well. Like we've been casting a lot of StarCraft today. I did manage to get a 3-hour nap. I got to sleep for 3 hours, and now we're here. Now we're back with some more StarCraft. Let's go. But I'm pretty well rested, to be honest. I'm pretty energetic. 3 hours. That's all I need, Papi. That's all I need. We're good to go. Non-stop StarCraft. Oh, as looks like we have our casters ready. Everyone has loaded in. And I'm anxious about Neon Violet Square. Let's go. I'm sure eGGz is as well. Now, we have seen certain all-ins be quite successful on Neon Violet Square. I'm referring to going for Nidus-based all-ins or Drop Lord-based all-ins. There are ways to break a defending Protoss player, but as I mentioned, the map is going to be favoring the defender here on Neon. We'll get into it though. We'll get into it once we jump into the game itself. I do apologize for the downtime. There was just some technical issues that were going on. Just a couple of tech issues, but here we go. We're loading in. I'm ready for the sky toss. Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neon Violet Square, we have the Colombian Zerg player, the red Zerg, tying up the series 1-1 and forcing the ace match. Can he go all the way? It is eGGz. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the Peruvian Protoss representing Unidos por el Vicio. It is Zions. Here we go. Whew. As welcome one and all to Neon Violet Square, and there's a lot to get into. Again, this is a map that we rarely get to cast. This is a very often vetoed map in the map pool, and a lot of online tournaments, they just exclude this map entirely, as it does have certain tendencies in these matchups. Also, shout out to HSL. Hispanic StarCraft League. But first things first, ramp. We have a ramp coming into the natural base. This is already a rare and more unique feature, so this does make the natural that much more defendable, that much more fortifiable. Likewise, we have the pocket expansion as well, so we have a free 3rd/4th/5th base, depending on when you want to take it, so you have a very secure 3-base setup. Likewise, the 4th base here on the right hand side, because you have a ramp coming into the natural, it is easier to wall this off and set up your army here at the 4th base instead to defend this northern area. Likewise, you can freely expand outwards here onto the low ground. It is a little bit more wide open, that is true, but at the same time, it's very close by ground to your other bases, so rotating between your linear 3rd base, your triangular 3rd base, and your natural base is much easier here in the mid to late game. So easier to defend this 3-base setup, and you get the pocket base as well, so you have a 5-base setup here. And much more secure 5 bases, so it is easier to build up, to max out, and to defend in that corner of the map in your 5 bases. Now, the other thing, of course, is long rush distance by ground. Very long by ground, so because of that, aggression can be deterred. But something that you can do as an aggressor, as someone with map control, is the gold. There's a gold base here in the center of the map, so I can definitely see a world where if Zions does decide to turtle, eGGz can take advantage of that and expand and take the gold bases and get a boosted economy and use that to be more aggressive. So the gold base can be a factor. But now Zions, he does pull away. Did scout, did confirm the hatch gas pool. So far is aware. And back at home, we should be seeing our tech of choice. So far, gate expanded to Cybercore, soon going for our Stargate. There it is, Stargate opener out of Zions. Now, every game so far, Zions, he's gone Stargate into early Twilight Council. Here on Neon Violet Square, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Stargate into a 3rd base into delayed tech, as you can be a little bit greedier on this map. As you can see, Zions, he's walling up. He's walling up, he's walling up. eGGz trying to get a scout off. Does rotate over towards the pocket base to make sure he's aware of everything that's going on. Speaking of, yep, Zions, he's going for the pocket. Going for the safe 3rd. Oh, never mind. Never mind. He thought about it for a moment, does pull back with the probe, Void Ray is on the way. What's the plan? What's going on? Where are we headed? See in chat? Gary. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Ay, papi. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? And we're just going pure Sky Toss. This time, there's no twists, there's no turns. We have +1 air attack on the way. Pocket base now being taken after the Void Ray snipes the Overlord. eGGz, he's being active with those Lings. And eGGz, he at least needs to scout the low ground. He needs to scout the natural base. So far, he's in position here at the thirds. I guess at the fourth locations. The silence is expanding. We should be seeing additional Stargates. And again, this style makes the most sense for Zion's. Meanwhile, eGGz back across the map takes the standard linear third base. I do think he could have gone for the gold as a third instead, but he still has access to the space as a fourth. He can still expand here eventually. As the Void Ray is hunting down Overlords. It is going to be lair first here by eGGz. And here comes the Fleet Beacon, and we're waiting for the second Stargate. We have the money for it. Waiting for that second Stargate. The Cybercore has yet to be scouted. eGGz, he can just blindly go for a Spire and blindly go into Corruptor. That is an option. There we go. 3 Stargates on the way. These Stargates are late, I will say that, but they're in production regardless. It's getting there. It's getting there. You know, Void Rays do find a Queen. Nice pickup. 1 Queen goes down. Do have a safety Roach Horn out of eGGz. eGGz is yet to really confirm what's going on. And we're waiting for the lair. Waiting for our next tech. Waiting for the Spire, I would hope. Or at least the Hydra Den. But I would prefer a Spire. Void Rage just maintaining map control, hunting down Lings. Carrier production has begun. We've seen this before. But again, Zion's this time he's cutting corners. Remember, game 1, Zion's, he delayed his carriers by going into charge and going into Zealot Warpins. Here, none of the sort. Meanwhile, it's going to be lair into +1 air attack into Hydra Den. I'm not too fond of this. I mean, this can still work though. Like, we were speculating earlier, talking about game 1 and talking about the unit compositions that we had, and because Zion's was prone to going mass carrier Void Ray, because he had no splash damage and no support, technically mass Hydra Infestor with Microbial Shroud can work. It is viable, it can work. Meanwhile, the expansion is denied. Nice pickup here by eGGz. The Void Rays are still building up, yet to reveal themselves. A 4th Stargate is on the way. And eGGz, he can try to get... I mean, right now he's on a 3-base economy. He's rallying out with those Hydras. He's getting ready for his push. Now, I'm not too fond of the idea of eGGz pushing in anytime soon. I do think that it's crucial here for eGGz to preserve these Hydras and to build up into Infestors. Carriers are revealed. Carriers are revealed. Without Infestors, without Microbial Shroud. Okay, he's going for the Spire. He's going for the Spire. He now realizes what's going on. He sees the Carriers. He pulls away. And he responds with Corruptors. So he's not... Yeah, double Spire. Double Spire, double Corruptors. I say double upgrades. So eGGz, he's not going for Microbial Shroud. He's not going for any kind of Hydra timing. But this is a bit of a late transition here by eGGz. It is earlier than last game, than game 1, true. But eGGz now knocking down all these rocks. Double expanding, droning up, and we're getting into a later game state. Now, regardless, even though eGGz, he isn't really going to make use of these Hydras, I do appreciate that eGGz, he's taking faster out of Hydras into Corruptor. So this is a faster transition from eGGz. So he should have a better chance than game 1. Should have a better setup. We are missing the Infestation Pits. We do need the pits for the Hive, for the Vipers. There we go. Pits now on the way. eGGz now taking another expansion. Zion's back at home, just going pure carrier into eventual Void Rays, as Flux Veins is being researched. 4th base has been taken. We have a Tempest on the way. I mean, that'll help. If you weren't here for game 1, then coming into this setup here, I will reiterate once again that pure Skytoss is not the most ideal late game composition. Skytoss with ground support is superior. I'm referring to having Archons and High Templar to support the army. just because they're a better way to punish mass Corruptor. Corruptors are prone to stacking, and ideally to deal with this kind of army, Corruptors, they do want to dive on top of those carriers. And without Archons or without Storm to stop that from happening, I have to favor eggs. At the end of the day, this all comes down to the execution. It comes down to the army control. But eggs has potential. I'll say eggs has more potential than Zion's with these armies. Carries every single game. He did not go carrier game 2. As a reminder, game 2 was on Ultra Love, and game 2 Zion's he did try to go into double Robo, double Immortal production with a ground-based composition. As a reminder, we did expect mass Skytos here in Neon Violet Square in game 3. Just as a heads up. You know, Corruptors making their way towards the main. Going for the contamination, let's go. Slows down the production. Corruptors dive in, they do catch one of the carriers. Or they at least try to. Shield battery up, barely doesn't save. This is where shield batteries here in the main would benefit. Tempest gonna be going down as well. Massive pickoff. Gets a carrier, gets a Tempest, gets another Tempest as well. Yeah, Zion's getting picked apart here. Nice pickoffs. Very nice pickoffs. And again, you can see just how much more prepared eggs is this time. After game 1, it's one of those things where fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, never fool me again. Going for the production. Oh, catching another Void Ray. There's one Void Ray left. And now Pure Carrier. Again, Pure Carrier does not trade well against Corruptor. Carriers are going down one after the other. Oh, now going to be zoned away. Corruptors have to back off. That was, how many? That was 1 carrier, 4 Void Rays. Don't forget, we do lose 14 Corruptors, but that was also the Tempest as well. That was 2 Tempest. So not a bad trade for eggs. And remember, eggs, he has map control, he has the gold base, he can afford to trade. He can afford to throw this away. Another carrier goes down. Shield batteries out of energy. Yeah, and eggs, he breaks through. He breaks through that defensive line, takes down every single carrier. Yeah, forget about spellcasters, didn't even need them. And with that eggs, he will snowball out control. He will clean up every unit in the sky. Oof. As that was happening, that was 9 carriers going down. And again, there's just no support. There's just no support for the Skytos. It's a PSA for any Protoss players watching. If you want to try to, rush into a late game composition, Pure Carrier and Pure Carrier Void Ray, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. It can work if you catch your opponent off guard, which is what happened in game 1, but this is also when, if you remember, I did mention how ideally you don't want to rely on that too often in the series. Because eggs, he was much more prepared this time. After game 1. Takes down the Void Rays. Eggs, he does overextend with these Corruptors, so he will lose them. We'll lose the Corruptors, but Lings, they do wreak havoc on the low ground. Take down the cannons, denying mining here at the expansion. That was, I would say, wasteful by eggs. Again, the initial dive earlier was solid, but that was a bit much. So eggs has to calm down. Joining up to 90. Likewise, carry count is built up. Eggs, he has to back off. Again, eggs, he has to back off and max out. He cannot engage early on. Not right now. Not like this. This carries it back up to 6. Zion's, he's looking to stabilize. Now, thankfully, eggs does retreat. If he kept pushing, he would have just lost his lead and lost his advantage. Eggs, he has to respect that carrier count. Viper production has begun. Just the 1 Viper for now. Zion's, he is looking to stabilize. Now, as a reminder, because of the map itself, because of the terrain, free 3 bases, this 4th base also very secure. You can see that all the aggression, all the fights have been happening here in a centralized location at the 4th. So it is easier to maintain that economy. And Zion's, he didn't really lose any probes. He lost control of the map, of the mineral line, that is true, but he did save his workers. So Zion's, he defends well. And again, Zion's, he can soon expand here on the low ground. This is going to be another secure base for him. Meanwhile, eGGz, he's maxed. Now, what does eGGz have? eGGz, he's working on 3-2 upgrades. Upgrades are looking solid. He has only one Viper. That's my biggest concern. One Viper doesn't seem like enough, as he needs that power bomb to count. And again, he can go for the dive. He can stack on the carriers. Show us the power bomb. Oh, doesn't go for it. Now eGGz are in the way. Lanes, they deny the expansion. They delay. Just looking for another way in. Still only one Viper. Like, there is so much pressure on that one Viper. So much. And Zion's is building up. Building up more carriers. He's made it through the first big hurdle. Once again, eGGz trying to catch the production, forcing the army to respond. Oh. Viper's getting ready. eGGz moving in. Looking for the dive. Going for the powerbomb. Oh, going for the abduction even. Yoinks one. Yeah, Viper goes down. Ay, ay, ay. So now it's 0 Vipers for eGGz. There we go. Now 4 on the way. But this will delay. Again, Viper production, it just began, and he also has to gather energy as well, which means Zion's now is the time to expand. Now is the time to expand and to max out. Now, as both armies are maxed out, I do once again think that there is more potential for eGGz's composition, but we'll see how the armies engage. For eGGz, the reality is it comes down to the Vipers. It comes down to the Viper control. It comes down to the spell usage. He can approach this in 2 different ways. He can either slowly abduct and pick off 1 unit at a time, or he can power bomb, try to punish the Void Rays, and dive on the army, and make use of that power bomb on the interceptors. So he has options. Vipers are moving in. He has limited capabilities here with the Vipers. Does move in nonetheless. Yeah, for a lot of the Vipers, he actually doesn't have enough energy to parasitic bomb, but he can abduct. Speaking of, oh, gets a power bomb on the Void Rays. So far, getting a lot of damage. Likewise, Hydras get behind the mineral line. Science, he does pull away. Does pull away. Decent abduction. Gets 1, gets 2. 2 carriers go down. Looks at 8 probes. Not bad. Decent pickoffs. Zion's, how many carriers does he have? He's up to 14, soon to be 15 carriers. Oh boy. that's a lot of carrier. As he will soon have those 3-3 upgrades. He's getting there. Do we have a Spore Forest? The answer is no. There is no Spore Forest. This is where eGGz, he's being a little bit neglectful and not really setting up for any kind of main counterattack. Ideally, you want to spend your minerals on that spore, on those spores. Gets 1, gets 2. Nice pickoffs. Very patient play out of eGGz. Picks off 2 carriers for 1 Viper. And the reality is we're kind of playing the late game here. We're playing a longer kind of game state. Zions, we spoke earlier how on this map it is easier to secure your 5 bases, less so to get a safe. Oh, Yoinks once again. Gets 2 more. Takes down 2 more carriers. Likewise throws away those ultras. But what I'm getting at here, technically, eGGz can take every other base on this map and starve Zions out. Like, that could be his win condition. If he does try to play out that style, we need creep, and we need more than this. This is like a scattering of spores. We need like a set amount of just a mass wall of spores here, outside of the third, outside of the fourth base as well, to be able to fight alongside them with your corruptors. So that is something that is lacking here. The creep is decent, but you do need ideally that ground support. There we go. Spores are moving in. Ideally, we want to unburrow every single spore and push forward and set up these kind of outposts. Like, these spores are a big part of the assault here from eggs, and we can do with more spores. Likewise, more creep. And the win condition for eggs should just be to contain Zions on 5 bases. We cannot allow Zions to expand and get this gold. That cannot be allowed to happen. Eggs getting caught out. Eggs gets caught out for a moment. Spores are amassing. Dark Shrine on the way for Zions. Uh-oh. Technically, that means that Zions, he does have access to Archons. True. DTs into Archons is possible. Zions going for the gold. Eggs, he needs to deny this. We'll see if he can. Sure goes down. Brood Lords, they do threaten the expansion. Spores are moving in. How many spores do we have so far? We have 36. That's okay. It's an okay spore count. We can do with more. Well, Abduction once again. Goes to the power bomb as well. Takes down a carrier. Getting a lot of damage done. A lot of damage here on the carriers. Regardless, we keep into a fight. Oh, does commit in. Corruptors, they do break through. They're trying to at least. Carriers, they pull back to the cannons. A lot of corruptors are going to be going down, but how many are left? 7 carriers left, and he commits. Yes, 25 corruptors. He has enough. He does it. He breaks through, takes out every single carrier. And again, if only we had some Storm, some Archons, some kind of support, but nah, just pure Skytusk. Pure Skytusk. GG, well played. Eggs, he breaks through the army, and Eggs, he will claim the series 2-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Eggs, he will claim the series. GG, very well done, very well played. Again, Mass Carrier is very vulnerable. Mass Carrier is not ideal. As we mentioned, Mass Carrier does have its weaknesses, and that is Mass Corruptor. As you do need support here, and that is why Mass Carrier is never seen at the highest level of play, just because it can be abused in such a way. Ideally, you do want Tempest, you want Archons, High Templar, Storm, even further ground support as well, depending on what you're up against. Regardless, GG. GG, well played. With that, Eggsy will claim the first series here of the broadcast, and we are getting ready for our next matchup, getting ready for our next series. Let's go. Here we go. As our lobby is being set up, and we are jumping in. Catching the chat. This is why Storm is needed. If you recall, I was referring to Archons and Storm. I was referring to again, just because Corruptors are prone to stacking, so that's where Archons can do very, very well and very, very nicely. Storm alongside it, both ways, just to punish Corruptors from stacking and just to punish Corruptors from diving on your army. But again, just to re-emphasize once again, this is something that Zions is aware of and that Zions doesn't do. Like, Zions, he knows this. He just likes his pure sky toss. It's very stylistic to Zions. Very stylistic. Here we go. As we're getting ready here for our next series, again, these players have been patiently waiting for us. It is going to be another PvP between Mute and Daryl. Let's go. So, actually, after this series, I guess we'll be going over the bracket itself. We do have some updates to catch up on. We'll get there. We'll get there. As we're jumping into Game 1, vetoes have concluded, of course, and Game 1 is going to be on Ley Lines. we go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Leylines, we have our Peruvian Protoss player. We have our Peruvian Protoss. We have our blue Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the other Peruvian Protoss player, the purple Protoss, representing Team NWCE. It is Daryl. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will play the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our second round of 16 match of the broadcast. And coming into this, Mute is going to be the favorite player here, but I'm ready to see what Daryl has to offer. Now, Mute, he is a unique player here. He's, I would say, one of the fresher faces on the scene. Mute, he only hit GM, I want to say, at the start of 2024. Maybe end of 2025. So Mute, he hasn't been competing at this level for too long compared to some of these other players. Mute, he does have less experience compared to eGGz, compared to Cham, SpeCial, even some of these other older players here in the bracket as well. Players like EON, players like Tavito, Zions, AqueroN. So again, Mute, he is less experienced, but he has been on fire recently. Like, he has been looking very strong and very impressive, and he has been on the rise when it comes to these online tournaments. So we'll see if this will be his big breakout performance in the Latin American region. We shall see. Because I would say, even though he's inexperienced, I would say that Mute is probably the strongest Protoss player in the bracket. I would rate him above Zions. I would rate Mute above Hunter, Fair Splitter, even his opponent. Like, I do think that Daryl it's going to be an uphill battle for him. I don't know how to rate Mute against AqueroN, just because AqueroN, I don't fully know what level his Protoss is at. AqueroN, of course, he is the Spanish Terran player, but did recently switch to Protoss. So I have a hard time kind of placing his skill compared to Mute. But outside of that, I would confidently say that Mute, he is top 2 Protoss in Latin America. Top 2 alongside Master. And Master's not here, as Master's from Brazil, which is excluded from the HSL. Is excluded. From here, Daryl does open up Stargate. So 2-gate opener into a Stargate here from Daryl. Mute going for 2-gate opener into a faster expansion. So we have a more economic start here out of Mute, and we have a more aggressive one here by Daryl. Going for the Stargate, going for the Oracles. Depths are moving out. Here we go. That map is terrible for that style. If you're referring to Neon Valley Square and SkyToss, I would hard disagree. I would even say that's just not true. So SkyToss is more favored on Neon. On Abyss Reef, on King's Cove. I would say that Abyss Reef and King's Cove are better than Neon Valley Square for SkyToss. That is true. But I would not say that that map is bad for it. As a back at home, we do open up with said Oracle. Likewise, going to be scouted here by Daryl. Mute. Mute will confirm. And Mute is getting in position. Safety shield batteries on the way. Stalkers in the main. Sentries here at the natural. Adepts looking to threaten the shade. I'll see if Mute can keep up. So far, dips in. Dips in, going for the stasis. So far, it does react in time. Whew. Pulls away. So far, Mute is keeping up. Adepts do shade into the main, though. Yeah, it was not able to wall off in time. And it can one-shot pros. Despite that, though, all the shots don't quite line up. And the Adepts are falling. Fall one after the other. Nice hold here from Mute. One probe gets caught, but overall Mute, he does hold, he does defend. Looking solid. Looking strong. This is where Daryl's in a bit of a rough position. This Stargate opener was quite expensive and it has to pay for itself. Needs to get damage done. As Mute already has Blink and a third base on the way, Mute he's ahead in other aspects here. So faster Blink, faster expansions, better economy for Mute. Daryl looking for economic damage, but hasn't found it yet. This Mute does move out. Does move out across the map. Daryl, he misses the rotation, he misses the main army. Daryl out of position. And the expansion is under fire. Likewise, Mute does zone away. Mute does zone. Likewise, as their main army is distracted, Depths they do shade into the natural. There we go. Mute does pull away, distracting his opponents. 3 probes going to be going down, and Daryl, he just can't quite keep up. Yeah, it's being pulled apart here. Getting 4 probe kills. Likewise, expansion is going to be going down, and Daryl, he just cannot keep up. He's being pulled apart. Stalker's out of position. Nexus under fire. Daryl getting desperate, going in with the Oracle, but alas, Mute, he's on top of this. He defends back at home, he attacks. And Mute, he won't quite be able to kill, but he does kill the third. Doesn't take down Daryl, but does pull away. 6 probe kills, the expansion as well. Mute takes the lead. Takes the lead, back at home he can warp in, he can defend, immortal production underway, +1, halfway done as well, better upgrades, better tech, and Daryl, he's pretty committed here. He has to get some kind of counter damage. Oh. So Oracle does fall. Nice pick up there from Mute. Takes down the Oracle, Daryl does pull away. The game will continue. Game will continue here. Again, Daryl, he is 1 step behind, if not 2 steps behind. Down a base, down an economy. It's a rough position to be in. And now, how do you bounce back? Like, Daryl, he's in a rough position here. To bounce back in this game and to try to recover, there are some ways to do so. Initially, when it comes to Stalker movement, Stalker counterattacks, blinking into the main base, blinking into bases, blinking into mineral lines, Adept harass, DT harass, skipping tech and rushing into disruptors. There are some ways to recover, but the pressure is on Daryl to make use of that. To tech up in a quirky way or to try to catch Mute out of position. Defending back at home will still just secure Mute here. As Mute is building up, getting further ahead, getting a 4th expansion. +2 is on the way. +2 is on the way here. And once +2 finishes, then Mute can push, right? Once he gets his upgrades up and running, then he can start to move out. He can be active, can be aggressive. Until then, still just building up, taking up into Archons. Daryl, he's stuck on a gateway army, Zealot Stalker. Getting to his own +1, he does move out. Mute, it looks like he will spot this. The Observer's in position. He will spot the rotation. Mute's keeping up. He rotates over as well. And Daryl is going to commit in. He's committing into Archons. Yeah, the Archons, they have their way with those Zealots. The first Archon is going to be targeted down, but the Zealots are going to melt. Mute's a little bit too far back, but regardless, he will still break through this. Yeah, the Zealots, they all do fall, and without those Zealots, there's nothing to protect those Stalkers. Daryl has to get the hell out of here. His army is being broken. And he will lose the prism. He cannot reinforce. And Mute doesn't have to stop. He can just keep going. He can just keep going from here. Rallying across the map. Going towards the fourth base. Daryl desperately trying to warp in, but again, he was just too far behind. He lost the third base earlier, he fell behind economically, production-wise, upgrade-wise, which is a rough start here for Daryl. And Mute looking to claim his first win here of the series, of the tournament, of the playoffs. As he breaks through those cells, no shield batteries, no side defense, the final Stalker goes down, and GG gets called. Mute will take game number 1 and take a lead in this best of 3. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Mute, he will take that lead. Again, a strong start there from Mute. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. Just came down to the first move out from Mute. Both players were more or less keeping up with each other, but Daryl was torn apart by the Adeptoras. We had two Adepts shading into the natural and shading into the main base, and Daryl, he overreacted, he overextended, pulling back, and again, was torn apart. Was torn apart in the end. GG. GG, well played. So Mute does take a lead, and we'll see if Mute can extend that lead or if Daryl can bounce back. Now, here in this PvP matchup, there are ways to be cheeky, to be aggressive, to cheese, to proxy. Daryl does have that option available to him. Here we go. As it is going to be, I believe, Daryl's map of choice. Putting on Daryl here. Meanwhile, just catching up on the rest of the brackets. We weren't able to previously, but it looks like we need a little bit of time here to set up. Do need a bit of time. Oh, we just some updates, so there we go. Looks like the first round is getting underway. So while we were in our first series, looks like 2 other matches already finished. Jesus. I mean, eGGz versus Zion was a long one, right? We had a lot of SkyToss, we had a lot of late game in that series, so it makes sense. Of course, eGGz did advance on to the quarterfinals. He's waiting for the winner of SpeCial and Ryogin. We have VortiX. VortiX takes down Black Knight 2-0, and AqueroN takes down Fair Spitter 2-0 as well. So some 2-0s there in the lower portion of the bracket. We do have some 2-0s, but we still have plenty more matches to go. Plenty more. This is only our second series of the broadcast. We still have 2 more after this. We still have 2 more. It is going to be here on this channel, at least. It's going to be Mute versus Daryl, followed by Cham versus Bombilla, and followed by SpeCial versus Ryogin. Oh boy. Here we go. Meanwhile, on the other streams and on the other channels, they're going to be featuring EON versus Charlie Cox and Tavo versus Hunter. So best of luck. Best of luck to all the competitors. Best of luck to all the players. When it comes to today's broadcast, I believe we are going to be focusing on only covering the round of 16. Tomorrow is going to be the quarterfinals, semis, grand finals, and third place match as well. It's going to be a long broadcast tomorrow, I'll be honest. Initially, I thought that today's broadcast would be round of 16 and round of 8. And we'd leave the rest for the final day, but it makes sense just because if you look at the format, the semis are best of 3s, not best of 5s. Like, I'd assume that we had best of 5s from the semis onwards, but because they're best of 3s, potentially shorter matches and shorter series. But here we go. As we are getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the purple Protoss representing clan NWCE. It is Daryl. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have your opponent. We have his opponent. We have the other Peruvian Protoss, the red Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. It's time to export the bings and the bongs. Crazy. Let's go. But again, hope you've all been enjoying yourselves here for the HSL, the Hispanic StarCraft League. It is 3:40 a.m. in the morning here in Australia. Very early. Let's go. It's fine, it's fine. We're used to just destroying our sleep schedule and casting all the StarCraft, so we're good, we're good. We're good to go. We are setting up back at home. We do see Mute going for the low ground setup here. Gate, Cyber, Expand by Mute. Daryl surprisingly setting up on the high ground, going for a 2-gate opener. Now, there's a couple of things to consider here. Jumping into Ultra Love. Ultra Love has a unique feature, a ramp coming into the natural. Ultra Love maps, I suppose, like King's Cove, for example, Abyssal Reef. There are certain maps that have these ramps into the natural base, and this makes it more viable to be greedy, as you can see, cutting corners. Gate into Nexus, then into Cybercore. So very fast expansion here by Mute. Daryl, he scouts. Daryl, he sees the fast expansion, and now Daryl has to make a choice. He sees how greedy Mute is being, and Daryl, does he commit into a 1-base all-in? For now, 2-gate opener is already an aggressive start, and I did see a rally. I did see a rally here from Daryl. So far, he's still just rotating in between the bases. Does he move out? He does not. Okay, never mind. He doesn't move out. He will go for the expansion. He skips his first 2 units to afford a faster Nexus. So again, he does delay his production, and he's going to try to play catch-up. Now, even though this is a faster Nexus out of Daryl, Mute's is even faster here. Mute, his Nexus is already almost done. It's about to finish as Daryl's begins. So, big lead, big advantage here for Mute. The pressure is on Daryl to get some economic damage. What's he going for? Stargate. Stargate opener out of Daryl. And with this, of course, you can get into Oracles, you can get into aggression, harassment into the mineral lines. The pressure is on. Oh boy. Meanwhile, Hallucination comes in for the scout, and Mute, he will barely not confirm. He's so close. So close. Get behind the mineral line. Adepts do shade into the main. Getting one. One probe goes down. Just the one. Meanwhile, Mute, he does push in and does confirm the Stargate and the Oracle. So now Mute, he knows, he's aware, does recheck. Behind this, shield batteries on the way, Stalker's getting in position. Even though Mute, his army is smaller, as long as it's ready, as long as it's in these mineral lines, he should be safe, he should be sound. So he has time to build up and time to prepare. As you can see, he's just rechecking, rescouting. Mute, he's just all over the scouting here, all over his opponent. And you can see, even though nothing has been killed and no one has lost any units this game, I mean, I say that, a scouting probe went down. Look at the worker disparity here. Daryl has 35 probes and Mute has 40. Again, that's all because of the early Nexus timing. So Mute has been enjoying a greater economy, and in a mirror matchup, that is everything. Daryl moving in. Oh. So far. Tavo does poke in. Gonna be zoned away. Gonna be zoned back. Again, Adepts do actually shed into the main base. Not bad. Adepts moving in. They need some economic damage. Stalker's in position. At the same time, Stasis Trap towards the natural base. And a reaction. Oh my god! Massive connection here as the Stasis Trap does pop off. Takes down the entire mineral line. And Daryl, we spoke about it. There was so much pressure on Daryl to get some damage done. And he does it. Whew. So far, so good. Daryl, he pokes in. Pops off with the Stasis. Distracted Mute. And you can see Daryl, he's catching up. He's catching up in the probe count. A third base is on the way. Daryl taking a faster third. Daryl, he is clawing his way back into this game. Here we go. Just catching up with the chat, in the YouTube chat, I should say. ¿Qué pasa, papillo? Thank you so much for streaming these games. What is your prediction for qualifiers for the EWC? I haven't looked at any qualifier information or format yet. I don't know if that's available at the moment. But, so, no predictions yet for EWC. Now we're focusing on the HSL. Focusing on the HSL as Daryl does push. And Daryl, I mean, because he had a better economy for longer, Daryl, he has a larger army. Sorry, Mute has a larger army. Again, because the better economy has that larger army, Mute, he is pushing in, and Daryl, he's not out of the woods yet. He did have some good economic damage, that is true. But the army is still struggling. And yeah, Mute is moving in. Has plenty of sentries, plenty of force fields. Hatching, transferring workers. Probe's going to be going down. Nice force fields just zoning Daryl away. And Mute, he just bypasses the main army, goes straight for the natural. Straight for the kill. Prison backs off. He has the high ground. And Daryl's pushing up the ramp into his opponent. And Daryl just outpositioned. No shield batteries, no defensive setup here. Probe's going to be going down, and Mute, he's done it. He's done it. He has broken the natural base. And again, Daryl, he did a great job harassing across the map. That is true. But because it took so long, the army just wasn't there. Oh, denies the warp in. Nice knife there from Daryl, but the slow lots, they're waddling in. And it's not going to be enough. Again, Daryl, he expanded. He got a third base. Mute did not. Mute 2 base all in. 2 base all in out of Mute with a mass gateway explosion. 6 gates. GG gets called. And Mute, he will take the series 2-0. GG. GG. Well played. Congratulations, Mute. He will claim the series. And we'll advance on into the quarterfinals. My condolences to Daryl. Coming into this, Daryl, he was the dark horse. Daryl, he was the underdog. He was able to have some strong moments, though. He was able to hold his own for a time. But alas, Mute, as I mentioned, he is top 2, or even, I would say, best Protoss player in this tournament. You don't get better than Mute, and Mute, he will prove that and advance on into the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. Mute, he will advance on. And the question becomes, who's up next? Do we have any results? Do we have any updates? Exclamation mark be in the chat to have a look at the Wikipedia page yourself as we switch our scenes over and catch up. Let's go. Oh, okay. Any other results coming in? We're about to get an update here on Mute, as you can see, as he does advance on to face off the winner against the winner of Tavito and Hunter. eGGz likewise in the next round as well. VortiX, AqueroN. I believe the other casters are covering one of these other matches. Un momento. As it looks like videos are done and we're getting ready for our next series, for our next matchup. Up next, we have our third series of the night. It's going to be Cham versus Bombilla. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. God damn it. We're getting ready. We're getting ready here for our next series. Again, Cham versus Bombilla. It's going to be a ZVT. Big fan of Cham. Big fan of Bombilla as well. For sure. Big fan of Cham, big fan of Bombilla. So my heart bleeds, Bobby, my heart bleeds. I want both these players to do really well, but alas, only one can advance on. Of course, at Chamaco, I would say Cham is arguably the strongest player in the tournament, the favorite to win it all. I know that SpeCial, I know that Juanito, for quite some time, was known as the best player in Latin America. But in recent years, especially when it comes to EPT Americas and even EPT Latin America towards the end, I would say that Cham and Kelzer did surpass, or did meet SpeCial and then surpass him towards the end. But the reality is, both Cham and SpeCial have been a little bit more inactive as of late, so it's hard to compare the two. I do know they had a show match last night, or I guess this morning, technically. So I know they had a best of 9 show match, and I'm not too certain as to the outcome of that series. Not too certain. But I can say with at least certainty that Cham is the best Zerg player in the bracket. Oh boy. So we'll see if he can be brought down. We'll see how Bombilla compares. We shall see. As our players are getting ready. Are getting prepared. Here we go. So again, we do have that best of 3. Game 1 is going to be on Frostline. For those that are maybe unaware of our players here, Cham, of course, he has been an up-and-comer, or I say up-and-comer, he has been a very active player for a very, very long time in the online tournament scene. For a very, very long time, rising the ranks and again, getting up to the upper echelons in the top of the Latin American region. Bombilla has been less active. I want to say that Bombilla, he retired back in 2022, so it's been a couple of years. It's been a couple of years since he competed. Bombilla, he's one of the many players that did retire and only recently came back for the HSL. So much love to the HSL. It goes to show and it proves that, hey, all it takes sometimes is one big tournament like this to bring back interest in a region and bring back interest in a player base. So players like Bombilla, like VortiX as well, AqueroN, Juanito, SpeCial, a bunch of players did return to StarCraft just for this event. Great to see them. Great to see them. Great to see them once again. And we'll see how Bombilla compares to Cham. Again, it's been a couple of years, right? It's been a couple of years since Bombilla has competed, so he is less in shape and less in form. But I want to believe he can make a series out of this. Let's go. Let's go. Bombilla, he's got some fighting words. Let's go. It's like, yo, Cham, he's got no chance. Kappa. Hello, Jinx in the chat. ¿Cómo estamos, papi? ¿Cómo estamos? Ah. A little bit tired, but we're good. We're good. It's almost 4 a.m. here in Australia. But let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have our Peruvian Terran player, the Pink Terran, representing Imba Force. It is Bombilla. And spawning in the top right-hand corner. I'll get into this. I'll get into this. No soy tan malo como piensan. True, true. Bombilla, he's saying don't make roaches, and Cham is saying don't get stim. The banter. In the top right corner, we have the Mexican Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing eGGz Esports. It is Cham. So Cham, he's like, I should say, Bombilla, he's like, don't make roaches. Cham saying, don't make stim. Bombilla, I play mech. It's fine. I won't make stim. Battle mech is fine. Así que sigo bien. Yo, Infestor Hydra, Ling. Fair, fair. Let's go. Saludos a Di Vega. Oh, Di Vega, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Let's go. Pasan a ver las entrevistas a la comunidad de SC2 Perú. I'm tempted to type in the chat. To join in on the banter. I'm tempted. Funada Di Vega. Funada. He better be watching. True. He better be lurking in the chat. I love Di Mega. He's great. He's beautiful. Di Mega, he's a Peruvian Protoss. He's currently living in Italy. Did move to Italy. Meanwhile, 2x Reaper. Oh my god. Here we go. All right, first things first, of course, predictions. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat as you can get your gambit going. Sorry, it's just a little bit distracted by the banter. But now, though, Cham going hatch spool, and again, Bombilla opening up 2x Reaper. Let's go. Let's go as Bombilla. He does move out with his first wave of Reapers. Saying, I don't know what you're thinking. Oh no, he's saying, it's not what you think. It's not what you think, papi. It's not what you think. No es lo que piensas, papi. Lo que piensas. Reapers to do poke in. Again, 2x Reaper initially. Sorry, I apologize. I just assumed it was 2x Reaper. It's Reaper Rax. Sorry, my mind. It's Rax into Factory. Ay, ay, ay. I just assumed we were setting up for a second Rax. That is not the case. Okay. Let him cook, papi. Let him cook. Yo, he lied. He lied to us, Papi. Oh my god. Bombilla going into a 3x follow-up. 2 more Rexes on the way. He said he was going to play mech. I believed him. He's not making it up. He's crazy. Reapers into the main. Samurai Cham keeping up. Oh. Throws out the Spore. Maintaining himself. As Reapers, they do try to slip by. Another Reaper is going to get picked off. Nice flanking Queen. Ooh, takes... Oh my god, doesn't quite get it. Doesn't get the Reaper. Meanwhile, Heli Reaper towards the natural base. Cham getting pulled apart. Drone's going to be going down, getting 3 drone kills so far. Nice damage. Bombilla, calm down. Pokes in, pulls away, hasn't lost the Reaper yet. And behind this, again, he's throwing down 2 more Vaxes, working towards very early stim, very committed 2-base all-in. Well, looks to be a 2-base all-in here from Bombilla. Early tank production as well. No third CC. Hyper aggression out of our Terran player. He's being hyper aggressive. Oh! Reaper goes down. Reaper does go down. But again, these Reapers, they've already paid for themselves. Bombilla, he does bypass the main army, going for the mineral line once again, going for the drones. Gets 1, gets 2. 2 workers get roasted, getting, oh, barely not a 3rd drone towards the end. Cham does defend, Cham holds. Whew, Cham does hold on, and he has to scout. He needs to figure out what the hell's going on. As Cham has no idea. Again, Bombilla, he's known for playing mech as well. And he was memeing about it, but no. Things they poke in, they do get eyes on the stim. He broke the agreement. He did. Ah, no. He has altered the deal. As Cham does respond with his Bailey Nest, going into Ling Bane. So Ling Bane on the way from Cham. Meanwhile, Bombilla still building up, waiting for his stim, waiting for his Medivacs. Again, no 3rd CC, still 2-base all-in out of the Terran player. Still committing. Los dos barracas en la cabeza, papi. Muy caliente. Cham, no se valía stim, papi. True. Yeah, Cham, he's like, hey, I told you no stim. It's combat shields, don't worry. Kappa. Oh, no. We had a deal. I said no roaches, you said no stim. Ah, oh, Cham has been bamboozled. Oh, no. As Bio Army does move forward, he does not reveal stim, not yet. Moving in. Tanks gonna be sieging forward. Does siege forward. Setting up here, pushing in towards that natural. Still has yet to reveal himself. Ah, oh, show us the stim. Oh, there it is. Dust him back. Bailey's gonna be targeted. And Chammy's in trouble. The Bailey's stay up, try to connect. They take down 1 tank. Nice spread, nice split. Does spread nicely, but still barely not enough. Whew. Cham is holding. Cham, he does hold. And remember, there's no expansion. There's no CC. There's nothing here. It's still just completely all in on 2 bases. And when the first push fails, the second is going to be that much weaker. As Bombilla, he just lost 2 tanks. Oh no, the 3rd tank. 3rd tank goes down. Their tank does fall. I think it's just Marines left. Just Bio. Cham moving back, waiting for his Banelings. He's got his 1-1 upgrades on the way. Once again, Cham being very proactive. He wants to dive in. Goes for the tank. Tank gets surrounded. We get some decent Baneling connections. The tank is going to be targeted, but it does barely survive. On 19 HP. The tank lives. But this is still better for Cham. Cham, he's on 3 base saturation, is getting a 4th base. Look at the drone count. Look at the economy here between the players. Cham, he's on 74 workers. Bombilla, 2 base all in with 41 SCVs. Now, mules are good. Don't get me wrong. Mules, they're amazing. They're beautiful, right? Mules, they make up for 10 SCVs. They don't make up for this disparity, though. Jesus. They don't make up for being down at 30 workers. And 2 soon to be 3 bases as well. So as the game progresses here, it's getting worse and worse for Bombilla. It's becoming harder to look at. And we'll see if Bombiya can bring this all together. Now, there is a chance. If he can catch Cham unawares with his pants down, Pappy, then maybe he can catch him out. If Cham is maybe in the midst of counterattacking and out of position, if he lose, I mean, in that moment he can lose a couple of bases. We could see a Doom drop into the main. There's potential. Is potential here. Bombiya moving in. Does move in, does siege up, scans ahead of time. Scan ahead of time. Starting away the Ling Bane. Likewise, Cham setting up a counterattack. The base is under fire. This expansion may go down. Cham is coming for the surround. Bailing's from behind, Bailing's from the front. Cham, he doesn't have enough though. Yeah, not enough supply. Bombiya is pushing in at the same time. Cham, he knocks down that front door. He does go for the counterattack. It breaks through the natural, gets into the mineral line. SCVs are going down, but Bombiya, he doesn't care. He didn't have workers to begin with. He doesn't care about his boys. He's going for the kill. He's going for the throat. Cham is in trouble. Look at the army supplies here. Cham trying to mass up Ling Bane. Cham is going to be falling. And man with gun, can Bombiya pull this off? It's going to be close. Oh, the tanks! No, the tanks are exposed. He gets all three. Oh no! Oh wait, no splits. No splits. No splits. The Bailings, they connect to the face, and Cham, he holds back at home. Cham takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Cham, he does take a lead in the series. Again, a very intense back and forth between Bombiya and Cham. Bombiya con las trampas, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Oh no. Let's go. As we're getting ready for our next game. As we're getting ready for game number 2. And we'll see if the banter continues. That's what I want to know. As it is going to be Bombiya's map of choice. Will be his map of choice here. So we are jumping into Whispers of Gold as game number 2. Okay, does make sense. Does make sense here. Of course, these smaller maps are more favored towards aggressive builds and aggressive play. If Bombiya were to go for another 2-base all-in, then Whispers of Gold would be the ideal map for it. Now, is he telegraphing himself too much, though? Is that the question? Here we go. Oh, my grapes. Oh, no. Not like this. Hold on to your grapes, Pappy. Hold on to your grapes. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Also, I didn't get to mention it, but a shout out to those working behind the scenes for the HSL when it comes to making the assets as well. I don't know if you could notice, but like, it's looking pretty clean, pretty suave. It's the overlays, the assets, the graphics. Of course, we did duckify it a little bit by adding like our stinger and adding like our casting tool and our logo. So there's a little bit of like duck influence there, but for the most part, this was all pre-made by those working in the Latin American or Spanish-speaking community. So much love. Looks good. If you missed out on the intro video, I recommend watching it. It was beautiful. It was very hype. And here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the pink Terran player, the Peruvian Terran representing Team Imba Force. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back and make a series out of this. Oh, let's go. It is Bombiya. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Mexican Zerg player, the Zerg player from Mexico representing eGGz Esports. It is Cham. Your grapes? You mean my grapes? Our grapes. Oh no. Let's go. Let's go. As now, Cham is going to be opening up hatch first. Likewise, once again, Bombilla opening up with the racks on the low ground. Now, I had made the blind assumption that this was going to be 2 racks Reaper in the last game. If you remember, it was racks into factory into 2 base all-in. It was crazy. We'll see if Bombilla does the same build or does something different with his opener. We'll see if he does mix it up. At Cham going for a bit of a safer opener here. That was a slightly earlier spawning pool before the gas geyser. Outside of that, we are calming down. Looks like no second racks, so once again racks into factory. Now I would not be surprised if Bombilla does go for a different follow-up though, with the same opener but a different mid-game into a different build. I don't expect the same thing 2 games in a row. No shot. Also, you can also notice the vibe as well. Like, they were both like joking and having fun in game 1, but here in game 2, papi, we're locked in. We're locked in, papi, we're locked in. Bombilla, it's getting ready. It's massing up. Looking to make a series out of this. And personally, I would love to see game 3. I would love to see game 3. Love to see an ace match. For now, waiting for that interesting factory. That's going to be a tech lab before expand. Are we going for a 1 base all-in this time? Is that what's happening? No Reapers. We're holding on to the gas. Yeah, marine opener. So we preserve the gas. The gas is being spent instead on this upgrade. Going for an add-on swap into early tank production. No early cyclone. Magfield? Mech? It's got to be Magfield accelerators, right? Yeah, delayed CC on the low ground to show us the early tank production. Okay, not Cyclone. Okay, Bombilla, let him cook. let him cook, papi, let him cook, because this is crazy. So very late expansion here in favor of tank production. It's not a 1 base all-in, but again, a delayed expansion nonetheless. We do have a starport hidden here behind the mineral line. Now, this is very suspect. To hide the starport, to hide it here behind the mineral line, I'm feeling 2-port BC. I'm feeling BC production here. Otherwise, why hide it? Why keep it hidden? The other option could be Banshee, but now the tank makes more sense. It's like hyper defensive early on because Bombilla knows how greedy he's being. 2-port BC. Let's go. Cham is Argentinian? No, Mexico. Sí. El chamaco. Wait, what? Can we afford this? I assume 2-port BC. We're getting up to triple starport. And also, no fusion core. So, my apologies. I assumed it was going to be 2-port BC. It looks like it's going to be 3-port Mass Banshee. Show us the cloak. Yep, show us the Hyperflight Rotors. Mass Banshee on the way. Okay. I've never quite seen triple starport Banshee before, this early on, this quickly. So, well, yeah, he's got some builds. Now, I don't expect this is in the back of Cham's mind. Now, what I do expect, though, as Cham, he does poke in, he does scout. This time he sees no add-on on the racks. This time he sees early tank. If I were Cham, I would be assuming BCs, to be honest. And yeah, Spire. Yeah, so good response here. Cham, he goes for the early lair into Spire play, into either Muta or Corruptor. This is the perfect response to what Bombilla is doing. Even though Cham doesn't see what's happening, based on what he's seen so far, he can assume something like BC or something like committed starport production. And whether he goes into Mutas or into Corruptor, it would be ideal here. Mutas, I mean, they will completely shut this down. Like, what shoots up? What, the vanilla Marines? The 3 Marines? Oh no. It's gonna be a rough setup here from Bombilla. Remember, Bombilla, he's not scouted. He has seen nothing, by the way. He made 0 Reapers, 0 Hellions. He has 0 information. He started stepping forward. Overseer comes in, the changeling goes down, and the Overseer will see everything. Oh my god, he sees. He knows. Drop in the question mark. Yeah, no se vale BC. See, like, he's assuming, I'm assuming as well. Oh, and Bombilla is being cheeky. He said, so Cham is saying, hey, BC doesn't count, and Bombilla, he's saying, you didn't scout my core. Like, insinuating that he has a core to scout, so that he's insinuating that he didn't see everything. Oh, he goes for Corruptors. Yeah, Cham, Corruptors is a blind response to Battlecruiser, so he believes this Battlecruiser. Instead, it's going to be Banshee. Now, The reality is, doesn't matter. Like, doesn't matter if Cham believes it's BC or not, because regardless, Corruptors are still gonna be decent to deal with these Banshees. Now, they're not as fast as Mutas. That is why Mutas would be better, because Mutas, they can keep up with the speed of the Banshee and try to shut them down. Corruptors are slower. But regardless, I mean, they both do shoot up and they both deal with this. And here we go, Bombilla does commit. Here we go. As he moves out, a big shout in the chat. Thank you so much to Smack His Face. Baby God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for the subscription. And here we go. Bombilla, he does move out and knocks down all the creep. Banshees are revealed. But Cham, he's got his Corruptors building up. And he can't commit in. I mean, and again, sure, he doesn't have Mutas, but Corruptors, they shut this down. They shut this down. There's no cloak. No, Sean, no cloak. What was the point of all these tech labs? God damn it. There is no overseer. There's no detection. Sorry, there's one overseer with the main army. But alas, no cloak was built. Bombilla trying to find a way in. Yeah, going for the queens. Gets into the mineral line. Drone's going to be going down. There's no spore. That's going to be a lot of damage. At the same time, Corruptors, they don't care. They just move out across the map. They go for the CC. Cyclone production has begun. Lings, they knock down the front door. Command center. Oh, is it going to go down? We get the mass repair just in time. The surround. Ooh, not enough. Yeah, still not enough Corruptors. They overwhelm. And there it is. There it is. He's laughing. Ay, ay, ay. As with that, yeah, GG, well played, me divertí, gracias por organizar el torneo. GG, well played. Bombilla, he says, thank you so much, I had a great time, thank you for organizing the tournament, I enjoyed myself. GG. Less than 3, papi, less than 3. GG, well played. Cham, he will claim the series, will take the 2-0. Bombilla is out of the tournament, but a big shout to Bombilla. Fun games, very fun games, very fun banter as well. Much love to Bombilla. GG. GG, well played. I'm messaging Bombilla. I'm saying it was fun casting you again after so many years. GG. GG, well played. But again, Cham, he will claim the series, he will advance on, and now we are getting ready for our final matchup of the night. Up next, everyone's been waiting for it. Juanito, SpeCial versus Ryogin will be next here on the channel. Let's go. Just catching up with the chat. Catching up. ¿Cómo se dice battlecruiser en español, papi? Crucero de batalla. There you go, there you go. Gracias, amigo. Matador de ganado. True, true. But here we go. Meanwhile, with that, we are going to be wrapping up our third series. We're going to be catching up here on the rest of the bracket. Exclamation mark, be in the chat to have a look at the Wikipedia page yourself. Let's go. As you can see here, we have some updates. It looks like Cham, he's up against AqueroN in the next round in the quarterfinals. VortiX waiting for the winner of EON and Charlie Cox. We have Mute waiting for the winner of Tavo and Hunter, and eGGz waiting for the winner of SpeCial and Ryogin. Let's go. And again, Juanito SpeCial versus Ryogin is going to be our next series, is going to be our next matchup. The final series of today's broadcast. Again, as a reminder, this is a two-day event. Day 1 is round of 16. Day 2 is going to be everything else. It's going to be a busy day 2, I'll be honest. Like, it's going to be a very busy day 2. With the quarterfinals, semis, and grand finals as well. But part of the reasoning for that is just because the semis are best of 3s. Like, if they were best of 5s, it would make more sense to wrap up extra matches here today instead. But they're best of 3s with only the finals being a best of 5. When are we getting Shelby in HSL? True, true. Give me my Shelby, papi. Let's go. I miss Shelby so much. Shelby, he was actually streaming the other day. This was like maybe a month ago, like at the start of the year. We actually raided Shelby when he was randomly playing StarCraft again after so long. It was fun to see Shelby again. Fun to see him. He hasn't aged a day. He has. But with that, we have some downtime. Vetoes are underway, and our players are getting ready for that final best of 3. Again, when it comes to the other matchups, when it comes to... Oh, it looks like we just got an update. Tavito takes down Hunter 2-0. Big win there from Tavo. Tavo does take the win. Mew versus Tavo is going to be a banger tomorrow. Oh my god. And EON versus Charlie Cooks is going to be on one of the other Spanish streams. Shout out to Protocito and Bond Gaming. They're going to be covering EON versus Charlie Cooks. Likewise, shout out to Enki and the Novak for also casting in Spanish, for also covering Juanito's and SpeCial's series. For now, though, we're going to be going on that short break. When we come back, we will have our next series. We'll have that final best of 3. See you soon. See you soon. Bye. See you soon. Oh, you can see the break animation. I haven't been able to show it yet. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's beautiful. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that lovely break screen and that lovely OST as well. The lovely break music, I should say. Shout out to those working behind the scenes to put all of that together. The graphic, the GIFs as well. But we have returned with our final matchup of the evening with our TVZ special Juanito versus Ryogin. Let's go. The final match of the round of 16. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Bolivian Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Infernalis Esports. It is Ryogin. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Mexican Terran player, the Blue Terran from Mexico, papi, representing himself, currently teamless. It is SpeCial. Juanito, let's go. Let us go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as this is the final best of 3 of the broadcast. Of course, we're going to be back with day 2 of the HSL tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow. Regardless, best of luck. For now, we're going to be settling in. And again, SpeCial Juanito is a player that hasn't actually played too often. I'll be honest, he did take some time off post EWC. He did take some time off. He did go on a break. So it's great to see him back. Great to see him return here to the competitive scene, to the competitive region. And we'll see how a player that's a little bit rusty compares to Ryogin, who has been around and been active and been competing since Ryogin's break. Sorry, since SpeCial's break, I'm going to say. Since his break. For now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard out of Ryogin. Now, coming into this, SpeCial is going to be favored, 100%. SpeCial, he is still favored, even if he's out of practice, even if he's not 100% in form. SpeCial Juanito, he's still a terrifying opponent. We'll see if Ryogin can pull off an upset. We'll see. I want to believe. Ryogin, he is very mid-game oriented. He does, from time to time, go for these all-ins as well. He can embrace them. He can go for them. So we'll keep an eye on him. Just catching up with the chat. Yo, I see everyone dancing, papi. Oh my god, let's go. They're dancing. Again, it's a really cool setup that they've got going on. The scenes, I mean, the graphics, the overlays, the music. Ah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Here we go. So far, initial Reaper does move out. Again, it was a standard open out of Ryogin, going for a link speed, and it's going to be on Ryogin to maintain himself to minimize losses here against the first Reaper. Reaper does kite back. So far, links do survive. Drone is under fire, but it should not go down. Oh, good. Whew. Quick morph in there into the Spore. Queen has arrived, and SpeCial is forced back. In the end, Ryogin, he defends successfully. He doesn't lose anything. Force the morph into Spore Crawler, but doesn't lose a unit. Nice defense. I mean, well, Ryogin, he does rally across the map, does get eyes on the natural expansion, does get eyes on the setup. He may lose the Overlord, though. This was a bit of an overextension. And the Overlord is going to be hunted down. Yeah, there's no saving this. Ryogin getting his third base, happily droning, saturating. Ooh, stay in gas. Hello. So coming into this ZVT, link speed is standard, of course, but typically you pull out of gas and you focus on your mineral income and you get into the mid game. But to stay in gas is a big tell, is a big sign that something is coming, either fast Lair or fast Roach Warren. But this gas is going to be spent in some way in a more aggressive manner. So really early gas income there out of Ryogin, getting up to 200 gas already. Meanwhile, Link does slip into the main, third CC behind this, third CC for Starport, economic build out of SpeCial. Throwing 3 CC into his 1-1-1 into what should be Banshee play with an add-on swap. As Link's a poke in once again. They shut down the Reaper. There's the add-on swap into Banshee play. So far, so good. And we spoke about what that gas would be spent on. We have confirmation, roaches. Roach Horn gets thrown down, more gas is being taken. I would say that the layer is a little bit late. I mean, even if we got the layer, it'd be early, but considering this build and considering the amount of gas that Ryogin has, there is value in getting an earlier layer. So far, Ryogin trying to keep up with the Hellions. Backing up a lot of minerals, actually. Is he just going for an all-in? It looks like that may just be the case. He's backing up so much here. I'm concerned he's going to get supply blocked. Like, he's going to make roaches, that is true, but yeah, he's supply blocked. Oh no! Yeah, so Ryogin, he gets supply blocked. He did not have enough overlords. You can see he's at max supply. He has money, but he can't spend it. Yeah, brutal supply block here for Ryogin. Ay, ay, ay. Just getting a little bit in his own head. A little bit distracted. There we go, Overlords have arrived, and it's an all-in. It's all or nothing here. Again, that's why there is no lair. There's no longevity in this game for Ryogin. One way or another, he is looking to end the game. One way or another. As Ryogin is setting up, rallying across the map. Again, he's just completely all in. The Banshee does slow down the push, does catch a couple of roaches. But Ryogin, he will commit. Looking to knock down that front door. Lings, they attempt to flood in. Hellions trying to slow down the army. They do get a lot of hits up here on the Lings. Yeah, Lings are getting roasted, but they do bust in. He busts through. It's all or nothing for Ryogin. He does supply block special. Tank on the high ground. Lings are being cleaned up, and can he pile the tank? It's gonna be close. He's only got 2 Ravagers. There's the Unsiege. Yeah, the wall gets broken, and that tank is exposed. Ooh, massive tank shot goes off. Second tank volley as well. Oh my god, the tank volleys are brutal, and with that special he holds. He shuts down the all-in, he shuts down the roaches. The MVP tank survived. And special holds. Special he holds, he survives. Ryogin behind this, he has no drones, he has no economy, he has no setup. He is completely all in. And the longer this goes on, the better it becomes for special. And even if that tank had gone down, special, he has plenty of Marines left over. He's got Stim, getting into 1-1. Ryogin, he's hurting. He's in trouble here. Overlord's going to be falling one after the other. If it wasn't for the supply block, then maybe he could have been able to pull this off. It was a very, very narrow timing. He does get the tank. Oh, the big up. Nice save. Does unsiege in time. Saves the tank. Marines, they race back home. Lings, we're just trickling out. We're trickling out of Lings one after the other. There's just not enough here. So not enough to defend. Special doing whatever he can. Yeah, there's a scan. He scans, he confirms no drones. He knows how far ahead he is. He's like, oof. Yeah, no drones, no saturation. Rich Ravager moving forward. Oh my god, massive tank shots going up. Oh god, the army belts. It's not a pretty sight. Zerg players, look away. Pappy, look away as a special takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Special does take a lead in the series. Does take the first game. And we'll see if Ryogin can bounce back. We'll see if he can bounce back, if he can recover. As it is going to be Ryojin's map of choice. And I don't blame him for going for the all-in, so the all-in makes perfect sense here. Again, special, he is the favorite player, and again, the all-in was getting damage done. He was able to bust down that front door, he broke into the natural. Ryogin, he was looking quite strong, quite powerful in that game, but as we saw, like, it was also a delayed all-in, right? The supply block was the most brutal part, I would say. Like, the supply block did slow him down, did delay him quite heavily there. And Ryogin, he wasn't quite able to get on top of that tank. He wasn't quite able to break the main base. He did go all the way. He ignored the natural, trying to go for some more secure damage. GG. GG, well played. In the end, Juanito does hold, does survive, does persevere. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Now, as a reminder, it is going to be Ryojin's map of choice. It is a loser's pick. So we'll see what Ryogin goes for. Now, I believe they still did conduct vetoes, and they have some maps left over. So we'll see what they embrace. It's so long, perhaps bug? No bug, Pappy, no bug. Just a bit of a longer break. Took a little bit longer to get going. You know, the other matches are still ongoing as well. I should open up some of those streams, actually. Hold on. Should open them up. The Novak, Bond Gaming, Protocito. I'll give them all a follow. Meanwhile, as we're settling in, says, yo, a big shout out to Liquid Mana in the chat. Thank you so much. Dzień dobry. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you guys had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. And welcome one and all to the HSL. Welcome to the Hispanic StarCraft League. This is a, basically imagine online GSL, but for the Hispanic speaking countries. So Latin American countries, and Spain is involved as well. Spain is also involved. This has been a month-long event. We did just wrap up the group stage over the course of the month, and now we are here with the playoff bracket. This is day one of the playoffs, and we are in the final series, so I hope you guys had a great time. We're nearing the end of the broadcast. Again, just a couple of games remaining here. This is the final best of 3. We are mid-series into SpeCial versus Ryogin. Slash shout-outs to @mana. Beautiful, beautiful. So big shout out to Mana. Thank you. Dziękuję. That's maybe a bit of... I should have said that instead. Dziękuję, baby. Dziękuję. Dzięki. That's here we go. We're getting into game 2. Juanito SpeCial, of course, does have that 1-0 lead, and we'll see if we can extend that lead and claim the series, or if his opponent can bounce back. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the red Zerg player from the land of Bolivia, representing Infernales Esports. It is Ryogin. Oh my god. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Mexican Terran player, the blue Terran from Mexico. It is SpeCial. And as we get into this game, a big shout out to the Acer313 in the chat. Papi. Oh my god, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. That's a lot of subs, Papi. That's a lot of subs. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. Acer has been gifting quite a lot of subs over time here on the channel, so thank you so much for all the support, for all the love, for the support in the chat. Thank you. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft as we are settling into that second game. Again, it is going to be hatch first here out of Ryogin, hatch gas pool, and SpeCial likewise setting up with what looks to be 2-Rax Reaper. Let's go. As a reminder, we are loading into the smallest map of the map pool, in the ladder map pool at least. The shortest rush distance by ground. Whispers of Gold is known for aggression, so going for a 2-Rax Reaper build does make plenty of sense here from SpeCial. As a reminder, Ryogin did go for a 2-base all-in the previous game, but this time hatch gas pool, standard opener, and we'll see if Ryogin can minimize losses and keep up against the Reapers. Now, this is not an all-in, but this is more committed than usual. This is not 2-Rax Reaper. What do we see? A 3rd Rax. 3rd Rax is on the way, so 3-Rax Reaper here out of SpeCial. That much more committed, that much more aggressive, that much more potential for damage, and now there's even less room for error for Ryogin. There's more pressure on him here to minimize losses, to keep up with his queens, with his lings, and to survive. We'll see if he can. Saturday Juanito SpeCial coming up. Let's go. Technically, it's Sunday here in Australia, but Saturday, I think, in most other places in the world. In Latino America. True. That's what matters. This is what matters. As we go. Reapers are moving out. Keep it going, CranKy. Oh, gracias. Thank you. As Reaper does poke in. Dancing with the army. Dancing with the lings. Likewise, again, we're making 3 more Reapers behind this. Ryogin, he does scout. He does confirm the 3rd Rax. He knows. Ryogin, he is aware. And he has to buy time for Ling Speed. Ling Speed is on the way. Still mining gas. So far, the Reapers, they do kite well. They pick off 2 Lings. 2 Lings go down. The 3rd base is on the way. And we'll see if SpeCial can force a cancel on that 3rd. He rotates over. He ignores the 3rd base. He wants more damage. Oh! He wants Lings. He wants the Queen if at all possible. Queen getting caught out. Yeah, Queen is getting low. And the Queen may just fall here. Late reaction from Ryogin. The Queen is going to go down. Massive pick off. And SpeCial, he's going to get a hand. He's getting out of control. He busts into the natural. Queen goes down. 2 more drone kills as well. 2 more drones. And we do have another Queen on the way, but this is becoming too much. It's becoming far too much at this point. Losing the first Queen is just a brutal loss. Link speed is almost done. True. And Link speed does kick in. And Ryogin will hold. Ryogin, he will hold on. SpeCial should not push onto creep. Not against all these speedlings. You can see SpeCial is dancing on the edge of creep. Poking in. Doesn't want to commit. Doesn't want to overextend. If he does, he will lose everything. Speaking of dancing with the army, getting KDA charges off. No, nicely done. Trading very nicely, actually. Has he lost a Reaper? He's lost 2. Okay. 2 Reapers have gone down for 16 lings. For a Queen, for 3 drones. Their base is up and running. And Ryogin, what is he gonna spend that gas on? That's the question. Oh my god, he's just being pulled apart. The Reapers, they're becoming far too much here. Good positional play here from SpeCial. With that cliff face, takes out more lings. Trades as best he can. KDA charges pop off. And we might not get into the mid game here. Ryogin, he's not going to be able to stabilize. Yeah, he bleeds out far too many lings. He's losing far too much. SpeCial is not stopping. 4th Rax on the way. Sorry, 5th Rax on the way. He's crazy. Getting up to 5 Raxes. And again, he was baiting the lings off of creep. That's the other thing I should mention here, is that I was emphasizing how SpeCial couldn't push too far onto creep, but instead he was fighting off of creep instead with that cliff face, with the terrain. Ryogin, he took the bait. And Ryogin just losing far too much here. Losing everything, all the lings. And Juanito, he's not stopping. He's making 5 Reapers at a time. 5 Rax Reaper. Ay, ay, ay. Juanito, calm down. And with that, he has done it. He has done it. He has broken Ryogin. There's nothing here. There's nothing left. The queens are going down one after the other. Lings, they trickle in. But SpeCial will clean everything up here. It kites well. GG gets called. And SpeCial, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round into the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played, congratulations. SpeCial, he will claim the series, he will take the 2-0. Well played, very well done. Oh. Just let me admins know. But GG, very well done, very well played. He does claim the series. My condolences to Ryogin. Ryogin, he's honestly a very strong player here, but he was kind of denied even the mid game. For his own reasons as well, right? Like game 1, he was the one that went for the 2 base all in. Game 2, it was SpeCial who went for the Massive Reaper. So very, very short games, very aggressive builds here, both in game 1 and in game 2. And in the end, SpeCial did claim it. And SpeCial, he is one of the favorites to make a deep run in this tournament. GG. GG, well played. SpeCial just claimed the win. And let's have a look at the bracket and catch up on what's been going on and what is coming up next tomorrow. Let's go. Let's go. So research seems over, and here we go. We have the round of 16 ready and already concluded. Oh my god. We have it concluded here. We have SpeCial. SpeCial takes down Ryogin 2-0. Actually, hold on. Do I have a better... there we go. There we go. As we do zoom in. So SpeCial takes down Ryogin 2-0. SpeCial advancing on to face off against eGGz in the next round, as eGGz took down Zions. So the opponents, they get stronger and stronger. I would say that eGGz, he is a level up from Ryogin when it comes to Zerg players in Latino America. So the TVZs continue in that portion of the bracket. Scrolling down, Mute took down Daryl 2-0. Tavo took down Hunter 2-0. And we have Mute versus Tavito in the next round. I believe that's going to be a rematch. I believe Mute and Tavo... No, my apologies. It was another Terran player from Peru. It was Mute versus... I almost said Ducklings. Hold on. Just double checking here. Mute, it was Mute versus Luciano and Mute versus... Bombilla, that's it. Okay. My apologies, confusing Tavo with Bombilla. So Mute, he is pretty well prepared. He's pretty well versed in this matchup. He did take down many proven Terran players in the group stage. Now he's up against Tavito. That's going to be a close one. That's going to be intense. I'll be honest, I want to cast that. That's a spicy series. Scrolling down, EON takes down Charlie Cox 2-0. VortiX takes down Black Knight. We have EON versus VortiX in a ZVZ. For those that are just tuning in from Mana's stream, you may not be aware of this, but VortiX, he is of course Lucifer's brother. He is the Spanish Zerg player. Right now, he is an AoE 4 competitor, but he has come back to StarCraft for the HSL. So it's great to see his return, and I look forward to seeing more of him. I was lucky enough to cast him in the group stage, and VortiX, he's looking pretty good, looking pretty in form. Does his own things. He was playing a lot of Muta. Like, Muta is very out of meta nowadays. But he was playing a lot of Lingbane Muta in ZVT. It was very nostalgic, very old school, and I look forward to seeing more of him in that ZVZ. Best of luck. Scrolling down, we have Cham taking down Bombilla 2-0 and AqueroN taking down Fair Spitter 2-0 as well. That is not a TVZ, that is a TVP. For the Europeans that are tuning in, you should be familiar with AqueroN. AqueroN, he is the Spanish Terran player, but AqueroN, he did step away from the game. He did take a step back, take a break in October of last year. AqueroN, he has not been competing since then, and when AqueroN showed up for this tournament, he's not playing Terran. He has made the full switch to Protoss. So AqueroN, he is now a Protoss player. He has cast away the facade that was his Terran, and now he's going full Protoss. He wants to win, papi. He wants to win. Let's go. So we have a TVZ with SpeCial and eGGz. We have a TVP between Tavito and Mute. We have a ZVZ between EON and VortiX, and we have a ZVP with AqueroN and Cham. Let's go. So a pretty diverse lineup here. And again, the quarterfinals are going to be played out tomorrow. We played out tomorrow here instead. But otherwise, hope you'll enjoy yourselves. Who is Black Knight? Black Knight is a Spanish, I believe Spanish Protoss player. No, sorry, Spanish Zerg player. My apologies, my apologies. Spanish Zerg player. Zerg player from Spain. You've got this rare gift of making people feel welcome and happy just by being you. Thank you for sharing that energy with us every time you go live. Oh, very kind words. Kind words, Infestor, kind words. Thank you, thank you. Do appreciate it, do appreciate it. Much love, much love. Gracias, gracias. Light is a light against the darkness. Oh no. But regardless, hope you'll enjoy yourselves here. And again, we have just wrapped up with the first day of the HSL. If you missed out, if you just tune in, say from Mana's raid, I do recommend the VODs. We had some really fun matches. We had some really fun games. I do recommend checking out Bombilla versus Cham. That was maybe the highlight. eGGz versus Zions was also very close and very clutch. Went all the way to the ace match. A lot of sky toss, you know, a bit of a warning there. There's a lot of sky toss involved in that PvZ. If you're a Zerg player, if you get triggered by 15 carriers like mass sky toss, then be warned, because that was crazy. what we saw between eGGz and Zions. So again, I recommend it. Do recommend it. We also featured Mute versus Daryl as well. So do check it out. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up. I say wrapping up. Let's have a look here. I say wrapping up, but we do have an outro video to feature, which I look forward to showing off. But I might actually jump on. I might actually jump on with Enki. I don't know. I don't know if I want to crash. I don't know if I want to crash his stream.
No hemos visto nada.
Como pasa en fútbol, o sea, un exitoso no va a enseñarte lo que de verdad.
They're in a call together. Okay.
¿Entendéis? Si son las mismas selecciones o...
So I was gonna say that I would love to jump on a call with Enki and talk about the HSL and talk about the matches, but it looks like Enki right now, he's in a call with the other Spanish casters. For those that are curious, there's like 4 Spanish streams. There's Protosito, there's Enki, there's the Novak, and there's Bond Gaming as well. So there's, and also my fault, sorry, there's 5. And there's also Sitasca as well. Also Sitasca. So I don't want to intrude. I don't want to intrude on their conversation, but it's all good. It's all good. So I might catch up with Enki next time. Enki, of course, he's El Hermoso. He's El Hermoso. Good friend, Spanish caster. But I'll catch up with him next time. Otherwise, hope you'll enjoyed yourselves. Hope you'll had a great time. Again, when it comes to the rest of the broadcast, when it comes to the rest of this bracket, tomorrow at this time, or I say at this time, 3 hours ago, is what I should say. So 3 hours ago this time, so in 21 hours, in 21 hours time, we're going to be live here once again on this channel with the quarterfinals, with the semis, and then the grand finals thereafter. Plenty of content, plenty of HSL content coming up at you after, or tomorrow in 24 hours, or 21 I suppose. So do tune in. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying the broadcast. ! Socials in the chat. And you will get a link to the social media page of the CranKy Ducklings. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, YouTube, Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis, so if you missed out on this tournament, If you missed out on the tournament, if you missed out on these matches, or even some of the other broadcasts that we have here on the CranKy Ducklings, then do check out our YouTube, just because all the VODs are uploaded then and there. We do cast twice a day, every single day. We cast more than any other channel out there in StarCraft. We have all the content, we have all the casting, and that will continue for as long as we can keep going. I mean, again, we've been doing this full time for what, 5 years already. We'll do it for another 5, papi. Let's go, let's go. Our next broadcast is actually going to be at 8 p.m. AEST. That is going to be in like, what, 16-ish hours, 16, 17 hours. We're going to be live with the Sparkling Tuna Cup. That is our weekly open tournament where we feature players like Björn, like Solar, Christiana, Showtime, Skillus. Again, it's a weekly open cup, so expect your regular open cup champions to be facing off in the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Again, that is going to be featured before the HSL. So first Sparkling Tuna Cup, then we take like a couple of hour break, and then day 2 of HSL. And then after that, it's, you know, a break, and then VortiTV Monday. So, you know, we do cast again twice a day, every single day. We have Pegasus Monday on Tuesday. We have the Rex April Madness on Tuesday and Thursday. We have Code for Giants Cup on Wednesday. We have the Pondcast on Wednesday. We have more Little League Cup on Thursday, on Friday. Like, we have plenty of content. KSL is this weekend. True. MSO, Fire Grow Cup. So plenty of tournaments on the horizon. Plenty of casts twice a day, every day. So do consider following, You can also help support us on Patreon as well if you wish. You can help support us on Patreon, as our Patreon does fund our weekly tournaments. But otherwise, you should actually check out some of the other Spanish casters. As I mentioned, there's 4 other content creators covering and funding this event. There was a crowdfunding initiative for the HSL, and it succeeded. It was very successful. The Latin American community, the Spanish-speaking community got together and funded the event, and that's why we have a HSL. And there might even be a season 2 in the future. So a big shout out to the Latin American speaking community. And again, do check out the other Spanish streamers as well. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up here. Oh. We're going to be wrapping up. And as we wrap up, you know what time it is. Yo, watch the video. Watch the intro again. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Big shout out to those working behind the scenes on making all these graphics and making all the hype videos as well. Enjoy. Let's go.